Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Oh Hi, Oh Guys podcast, Saturday edition. We're doing our thing here, live, twitch.tv/realnerdcore. If you didn't already know, I am your host for the evening. I am a man who has 141 and two-thirds% chance of winning at sacrifice. The numbers don't lie. I'm the big bad booty daddy. I'm Alex Fisher, your host for this evening. Joining me as always, my co-host. He is the genetic freak. He is the big Papa Pump, and I can't think of any more Steiner promos. This is my co-host, Chad Porto. Chad, how you
A
doing?
world famous bitch.
Starting hot, coming in hot. It's no secret that you and I have had our differences about
Yeah.
two things over the past couple weeks.
Really, only two.
Well, two important things. One
Fair enough.
being the Ronda Rousey debacle. Two,
Is it
well,
is it
I'm
a debacle though?
no, it was a debate, but the second being my views on Impact Wrestling
Hmm.
and how I did not want to support them because of one disgusting piece of shit.
True. True.
Um, both of those things I've completely turned a 180 on. I think you and I can agree, at least for the main card of WrestleMania 34, without a doubt, Rousey and Angle versus the McMahon Helmsleys was by far the best match.
Oh yeah. I don't even think that's debatable. We could sit here and split hairs about styles. You could sit here and say that the Alex because I don't know why people are shitting on the cruiserweight match at all.
Oh no, it was really good.
Yeah, it was, and I'm not a cruiserweight guy, but all the cruiserweight 205 guys are like, it wasn't that good. I'm like, what? It's really
Yeah,
good.
that doesn't make any sense.
So if that's more your style, that's fine. But and Steph and Triple H and Angle was classic storytelling.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't the most athletic affair. Rousey looked good, but she didn't look like she was placed in a situation where she completely dominated and like changed the narrative of everything. Like
yeah,
she was protected, but that's what you need to do with somebody with 4 months of
right,
training.
right.
And I thought she looked stellar. But it was basically thought that was the great way to do it. And honestly, this is gonna sound weird as hell. I think Triple H and Angle got in the way
Yeah,
because the tension, the drama was Rousey getting her hands on Stephanie, and it wasn't the feud like at all. Like none of what made that match good had anything to do with the 5 weeks of booking prior, like at all. It
right.
kicked off when Stephanie slapped and then forearm shivered her in the back, like right at the start of the match, and then ran. Like the minute she did that, it goes off and pop, and I'm like, "Ooh, Steph's gonna get it." And then that line she Rousey threw at Triple H, "I'm gonna go back to beating up your wife." Oh, that was
Oh, that was
great.
so good. Uh, she had such a good, like, she did. I wish more wrestlers were like her when it came to like verbalizing their trash talk, because she was
Mm-hmm.
really good. She was when what was it when Stephanie came and no, it was right before she said, I'm gonna go back to beating up your wife, when he pulled was it pulled Angle out of the ring or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but she looks at the ref, and which was Drake Younger, um and she points to Triple H. She goes, "You're the biggest cheater I've ever seen in my life." It was so good. Oh man. Um. So yeah, I am completely all aboard on eating my hat on the fact that everybody seemed completely fine with Rousey coming in and doing her thing, and you can see the passion she has for it. This
Mm-hmm.
is with a lot of guys, this is like, oh, this is publicity and a payday, and I have to pretend to be a fan of wrestling for an hour, and then I advertise and shill my shit, and then I'm gone. No, with her, it's legit. You can see the joy in her face when she walked out. You could see the joy in that clip that they posted of her watching Shinsuke practice his entrance. Like, and she did really really well in her debut match. So I'm 180 completely on Ronda Rousey. Like I can't wait to see what happens next, especially when she has a chance to really sharpen everything up and get everything down pat, and then go up against someone who's an actual competitor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They released that Rousey's going to be doing house shows in Europe
that's
during their
probably
next loop, though.
there should probably be a lot of multi man.
I would. Well, actually, I think I saw one of them is going to be one on one. I
I mean,
think. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
That's definitely, in my opinion, not the. If you're going to do one on ones, you need to make sure she's in there with somebody who can carry her. Not that Rousey's going to always need to be carried. This isn't the case of like certain wrestlers to this day. Randy Orton that needs a dance partner to stand out. She's got the move set to be, and take this how you will, but to be a Goldberg. Goldberg didn't have to be in there with anyone. The draw of Goldberg was watching what he was going to do to somebody.
right,
That's the same kind of aura I think Rousey has.
right.
So I'm very excited to see what comes of this. And by SummerSlam, I hope to see her wrestling more on her own.
Yeah, I like that she didn't just destroy Stephanie completely and just squash her in like 10 seconds. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it makes sense that she would in the sense of physicality and like actual fighting skills. Stephanie would get destroyed by Ronda Rousey. Um, but it shows that she's inexperienced.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know what she's doing. It took her a while to figure out, okay, this is the ins and outs of what I'm doing right now, and now I know I've got like it was like putting her toes in the water, and now she's like, okay, I'm diving in head first, and now I'm gonna find a way to end this instead of just being like, here's the mission, here's the end, let's get to the end as fast as possible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was good storytelling. I think on their behalf, they did not have the most technically sound match. Whatever, blah blah blah. That's not everything. There was from top to bottom. That was this WrestleMania had to have been one of the most technically sound WrestleManias of all time. I mean, look at the opening match between Miz and Rollins and Balor. Those three guys can all go. Two of them more so than the Miz, but but the Miz made up for it because in that match there was one character, the
Mm-hmm.
Miz. You know,
Yeah.
you had the cruiserweights who tore it down technically and had a great match that was all ring work. There was no character work. It was all ring work. You had what else? The car crash that was the triple threat tag team match. That was just
Yeah.
it. It just like I like that it was a different pace. That it went from the start. It had no pause. It was not. There was no heat. There was nothing. It was just car crash spot after car crash spot, and it was like that's what the Bludgeon Brothers do.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the shit out of you. They don't do technical wrestling. They beat the shit out of you. And we know that Luke Harper, Brody Lee, can do technical wrestling. He can do, whatever you need him to do. He's a all around great talent. But for the role of the character he's playing, he had a match that fit. But when it came to storytelling, more so than Roman and Brock, more so than Taker and Cena, more so than AJ and Nakamura, this match had the best story I've seen in a professional wrestling match in a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so um, I mean, so basically, the other thing being because I want to talk about all of what we watched over the weekend because I actually made a list of everything that I watched.
Oh,
Uh,
goody.
Dude, it's crazy. Before we get on to that, let's talk about Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So they dump. So he was at what Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. For those who don't know what we're talking about, was at the autograph signing at WrestleCon that Impact
So,
had earlier in the day on the Friday, which would have been the 6th.
I think the autograph stuff was Saturday. What he was there for on Friday. Now I can't speak to what was beforehand, but I know what they specifically were there for that day was a filming of a press conference
Right.
with
Okay.
El Patron and Austin Aries to promote and highlight their main event. And here's the dumb thing. After watching it, I was like, huh, I'm kind of into it now.
Yeah.
They got into a kerfuffle. The
Right.
guys in the attendance were like, oh, fine. And then they separated. Then El Patron on their live stream, because they live streamed the entire thing,
Uh
like
huh.
all day. It was awesome. El Patron said, this is my company. Later on, he said, I'm going to see him tonight when we kick the shit out of Lucha Underground. So then we get to the show. Nothing. Tommy Dreamer's there, by the way. So like Tommy Dreamer's in the audience of the Hall of Fame. He's a big fat grin looking at the big fat Dudleys.
Yeah.
He's all literally, dude. 15 minutes after he showed up on screen at the Hall of Fame, his fat face was on the Twitch stream asking Josh what the format is for the show tonight. And I was like, wait, what's this? Oh, God. It's Rick and Morty. It's Rick and Morty. One of them's a clone. So it was very cool to just see how close the proximity was to everything. Like the Sugar Mill, which is what it was called, by the way, one of my new favorite venues of all time.
That venue was really good.
Ooh, it sucks for commentators, but we'll get to that. So he shows up at the Sugar Mill to do his thing, and they're asking and talking and whatnot. No one's mentioning anything. They see Scott Steiner and Josh. Is like, hey, Scott, remember we were tag team partners? Fuck you, Josh. We're on live stream with Twitch. You want to say hi? Fuck you, Josh. And then he's like, all right, we'll leave now. You're scaring me. Wait, come back here, Josh. No, I don't want to. You're scaring me. Cocksucker.
I fucking love Scott Steiner. uh,
So flash forward to the main event, and Pentagon and Phoenix come out, and then Austin Aries, and then the bell rings. I'm like, what?
yeah, I was super confused too because I was watching it because Impact announced that they were allowing people to host the video on their channels and they could
And
comment
provide commentary.
and provide commentary, which was such a really cool experience because I watched it with the New Legacy Inc. guys and was just listening to them commentate, and they go, "Wait, isn't El Patron supposed to be in this match?" And I was like, because I had no idea what the clue was, or no,
Mm-hmm.
no idea what the clue, no idea what the card was, and so I was like, "Huh, that's weird." And then people started flooding the chat and were like, "Apparently he was at the press conference and then he no-showed the event." And some people were like, "He said he was sick and he couldn't make it," but other people were like, "Nobody's heard anything," and there was a lot of do we have like an official statement on what happened? Did he ever tell anybody, or was it a legit like no call, no show?
What happened? Well, here's the two sides. I'll start with his. He claims that there was a family emergency and that he had to deal with something involving his children and like his mother,
Hmm.
and that's why he couldn't be at the show. That's not what I'm hearing. It's not what other people are hearing.
So
What I heard specifically was that they couldn't get a hold of him.
right,
And this wasn't just the night of. He said that he was sick. He was going back. Like they knew at the start of the show he was quote unquote sick.
yeah,
But no attempts for at least the next 18 hours to get a hold of him were successful, to the point where Ed Nordholm was about to call for a safety check, which is what you do when you believe someone is either suicidal or if you believe that they have overdosed. You call the police and be like, I need a health check on someone. And they'll
yeah,
come by and do their due diligence. So they were about to do that before they got a hold of him. Now, the way it was told to me was Nordholm and Patron are in the same hotel, and that's why Nordholm was the one instigating this, because usually this would be a Demore or Callis job, because that's their job.
right,
Now, it's not been cleared to me specifically if they got a hold of him in the hotel or if he was off premises out of the city by the time they got a hold of him. So I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm saying that that's part of the big hubbubaloo is that for over 18 plus hours he was incognito, and Ed Nordholm basically just said, "I've had enough of this bullshit. You're done,"
right,
and he fired him like basically on the spot. Whether that's over the phone or to his face is unclear, but he basically got fed up and said, "Fuck off."
right.
So
And I applaud them for this because has had a history of being flaky
Yup.
and unstable
Yup.
and unreliable.
Yup.
So I can't. That's why it's so hard for me to imagine Hunter and Vince looking at this guy going, "You could be a good addition to the company again." It's like, really? He's one of the reasons that one of your top female stars, besides her own personal demons that she was exercising and mistakes that she was making, we cannot deny that he was a bad influence.
Nope.
She needs to be held
Well,
personally
I
responsible for her actions.
yes, I don't want to say he was a bad influence because she has a long list of bad decisions way before Patron. I think they were a very toxic couple.
Her first bad decision being born in that family. Just
Yup.
right off the top, that family. Yeah.
If only you could see what I just said, Alex.
Oh no. I was wondering why I got an.
Facial skills.
Oh no. I have a night. Oh no. I saw a GIF that somebody made of Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister from one of the Home Alones, and where he looks
Yeah.
at a picture and he screams. Is that Home Alone?
It's her. I saw
But
that. Oh.
yeah, it's her doing the page here, and he goes, ah!
I saw that one
I'm
too.
not even kidding you. We saw that commercial 3 times during Mania.
Yep. Yep. It was
Oh,
bad. So, all right, fun fact about that Macaulay Culkin scene in Home Alone.
yeah.
So, in the original clip, he's looking at Buzz, right? That's his brother's name. I
Potentially.
think so. I think so. He's looking at his older brother's girlfriend's photo, and his brother's a bully. So he's looking at the photo, and he's like, "Ugh, Buzz, why?" And it's this really fat, overweight girl. But here's the funny thing: it's not actually a girl. It was the son of one of the producers because they thought it would be too mean for him to do that scene with an actual girl. So like, would you be willing to do this? And the kid's like, "Sure."
Right.
So that's just a fun little story about Home Alone. They were being sensitive way before it was necessary. Page hair.
Ugh.
Like, what does she even do? How did they not look at this video and go, "We need to reshoot this"? Whatever you're doing with this Grinch stole Christmas face is not working.
Yeah.
What is up with the clown lipstick, man? Like,
I think she's trying to hide. First off, I think she's getting her makeup done by the Glam Squad of WWE, and they've been fucking up big time. Like when Rousey came out with the fucking orange eyeshadow and shit, where she looked like she had the worst case of pink eye of all time, like 3 weeks
yeah,
ago.
that wasn't great.
Yeah, I think they're the reason that fucking Sarah Logan ends up looking like a raccoon half the time. Cause it's like
Okay,
she
can we just can I just hear you say that word again?
raccoon. What?
It's raccoon. Raccoon.
Fuck you.
I love that we're only 2 hours apart, but we pronounce that word so dramatically different.
To be fair, I'm from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So
Yeah, but you've been in California, Columbus for like 15 years. Accents fade. But I will say this: every time you say raccoon from now on, I'm going to think of Raccoon from
raccoon.
Dragon Ball Z. Bridge.
Name's
I
Raccoon.
am Raccoon. It rhymes with doom.
You're gonna
And
be
you're
hurt.
gonna be hurting. All too
Too
soon.
Right. Anyways, I think one, it's on them because they suck.
Yeah.
And also two, I think she's trying to hide the fact that she had some work done on her face.
Now that's an interesting theory. Where would we see? Because it looked like she just kind of like stuffed her face into a bag of Cheetos. Well, okay, let me back that one up real fast. I'm not saying she's fat. I'm saying if you actually look at her cheeks in that one, hi guys picture,
Yeah.
she looks like she just got her face out of a bag of Cheetos. Looks like she's got Cheeto dust all over her cheeks.
So yeah, they put blush on her that doesn't match her skin tone because
Well,
she's
it's
so
hard to match. It's hard to match clear.
yeah, because she's so pale. They're trying to give her like an actual like oh well, we can highlight you and make it look like you actually have some hints of of actual skin tone. And I'm like, well, that makes her cheeks look puffy. And then also the fact, I think it's like, I think she did get some like cheek work done to make her face more full. And it just didn't. I don't know for sure. Allegedly, let me put that out there right now. Allegedly,
Now, because let's be honest here, she's still in good shape, but
yeah,
it is one of those things where we should point out that she has gained some weight. Not that that's a negative thing, because she's not morbidly obese. She doesn't have any health problems to worry about. So it's not that surprising to think that maybe her cheeks have filled up a little bit from any extra weight gain. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
true.
But I'm looking at photos of her debut, and I'm like, all right, she looks relatively attractive. If pulseless is kind of what you're going for. If that's your thing, like, hey,
Right.
look, she may not have a pulse. That's hot. That's cool. Like Wednesday Addams. Here she looks like. All right, here's the best way to put this. She looks like the lead singer of an all punk '80s band. The lead singer of an all punk female ladies band. There we go.
Right.
And this is 30 years later during her comeback tour, when she doesn't realize how unknown she actually is nowadays. That's what this feels like. It's like that Cyndi Lauper in like all those new commercials that she's in. I don't
Yeah.
know why they're getting Cyndi Lauper in commercials these days, but like that's what this feels like. Like, hi guys, Cyndi Lauper here.
Right.
Like, no, you're done. Go back. Go back. But she's now a SmackDown general manager, so good on her. Anywho,
I
the crown.
I don't know how I
it's
feel
not,
about that. Yeah.
not
Uh,
she's not whatever.
this is the first step in the right direction for Impact, and their show Thursday was so good, and like the Demons dance was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was just so good, and like the
Fucking
obvious
powder.
that pod driver was, whew. Um, obviously the announcement as of Scott Steiner as Eli Drake's tag team partner. I like they're doing everything right in the sense that they're going, look at what we can do with wrestling and have killer matches and fantastic storylines and stuff like that, and we can make this a good wrestling company. And then you see Scott Steiner, and and you go, oh, Impact is just going, and we like to have fun.
And now here's the thing: like 10, 15 years ago, guys would have been like, "Oh, they're just bringing in all stars because." But then you look at the fact that now it does seem to be a working theory that they're trying to bring in Pentagon and Phoenix full time. That doesn't mean that they'd be done working with Lucha Underground, but they're trying to get them. Like on their roster blast that they put on Monday, they were included.
Yeah.
And those were all full-time guys. So like that makes me think they're trying to get them. Then you look at the fact that over the last 2 years, they signed guys like Matt Sydal,
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Callahan, OVE. Moose was a little bit more than 2 years ago, but I think he still qualifies. Su Young, you brought in Taya Valkyrie, Brian Cage, Desmond Xavier, Jimmy Jacobs. So like you look at all these guys, Johnny Impact. You look at all these guys they brought in. Like with the exception of Impact, they're all under 35.
Yeah.
So a guy like Scott Steiner's no longer like, oh, they're just doing the same. No, Scott Steiner, goddammit.
Yeah.
And he deserves your praise.
It
Also, I think he's going into the Hall of Fame this year.
The TNA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could definitely, the Impact
Yes,
Hall of Fame.
Impact Hall.
I gotta get in the habit of not saying TNA anymore. But
Yeah, Kurt Angle. Not the worst
I mean,
insult to call somebody.
I think Angle's in the boat with us where it's like we knew it as TNA for legitimately 16 years.
Mhm.
You know? So it's like if they were to change the name of Monday Night Raw and they
Or
just expected
when
us
they change WWF to WWE.
Right, yeah, it took
And
people
truth be told, they've done that. They've done both those because it wasn't Monday Night Raw all the time. It was Monday Night Raw, then the War Zone.
Yeah.
We always forget that it was actually two separate shows. I don't know why. Vince, fucking idiot, but whatever. Welcome to the War Zone. Raw is Raw.
But I think this is going to be such a crazy year for Impact, and like the way that they're contracting talent is kind of revolutionary for such a major company.
Hmm.
You know, with the idea that they can come and go and take booking. I mean, I shit you not. On the Super Card of Honor, Austin Aries shows up with the fucking Impact. What? He's got the Grand Championship and the
And the heavyweight,
heavyweight.
world
Yeah,
championship, no longer the heavyweight, just world.
and then he just shows up on Ring of Honor and he goes, "I
Hmm.
want your television title." And it's like, wow, that's there's no way in hell any WWE champion could show up on another promotion's live broadcast with a belt and be like, "I want your belt." They would be fucking castrated by Vince.
That's not entirely true, but it is roundabout true. Everyone just about yes, but they would allow this for WWN live shows.
Right. You're
But that's the only one.
if if Roman
And we're
Reigns
talking cruiserweights.
if Roman wins the fucking belt and shows up on Impact and challenges fucking
That-
Austin Aries for the world title, Vince would have a stroke.
He'd have a conniption.
Yeah. So
So the cards looks great, by the way, for Redemption.
Redemption, yeah, it's looking really good, especially considering the fact that Scott Steiner's on it.
I also kind of want to point out that this isn't that revolutionary because this is what they used to do 10 years ago. You know, like Joe worked in Ring of Honor and Impact,
Right.
TNA back then. You know, they did have some guys under contract exclusively, like they do now. Eli Drake, while he's free to work other shows during the house show circuits, he's exclusively Impact.
Yeah.
But a lot of these other guys don't have the same restrictions. And that's how they used to do it back then. And Scott D'Amore is bringing that back. And I think that's good. You protect your top 10 guys, and then you allow everyone else to work elsewhere.
Yeah.
And the only time you need to worry about locking anyone up for contracts is when you start doing house show loops again, which is at least a year off. So there's no reason to worry about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see where it goes. And what was April 22nd is Redemption?
Correct.
I'm definitely going to be watching that.
So here's the card for the show. We won't talk about it today because we have too much to talk about. I just want to, because they made two more matches for it.
Yeah.
So world title match, Pentagon, Phoenix, and Aries rematch of their Lucha Underground Impact Impact show match.
Yep.
Matt Sydal versus Petey Williams for the X Division Championship.
I'm erect thinking about it.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
It's
You got the world famouses Eli Drake and Scott Steiner taking on LAX. By the way, Scott Steiner wore an NWO shirt at the at the crossover event, and then he tweeted Eli Drake on YouTube.
Yeah, I
Bullet Club
yeah.
confirmed.
Oh fuck, I wish. Oh, if you put Scott Steiner in the Bullet Club, then Bullet Club really is fine.
Oh my god!
I hope Scott Steiner is Bone Soldier.
Bone Soldier comes out a little bit bigger than normal.
Fucking terrible tattoos. Why is Bone Soldier wearing a chainmail headdress?
Comes out as Freak Soldier.
God, I want I want Scott Steiner and Cody versus fucking Ibushi and Omega.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this one out there. Crazy, but it may just work. Cody and Steiner versus Suzuki and Ishii.
Don't do this to me.
I'm doing it.
Oh, that's.
I know those two don't have much of a reason to tag, but could you just imagine Steiner and Ishii standing face to face? You're a fat bastard. And then Suzuki running in and staring down Steiner. What are you gonna do about it, midget?
I like the idea. Hear me out. This will play into storylines.
Okay.
Of doing a split in being the elite crew, where we have the Bucks and Kenny and Ibushi all go their way, and they make amends, and they're like, we're the elite, we're going to do what we do best. And Cody is still like, I'm the leader of Bullet Club. It doesn't matter if I'm an elite. And he convinces Marty to join his side because Marty's been very, neutral in it. And Hangman's by his side. And then they're going to have an 8-man tag match. And they realize that they're down one guy. So who does Cody recruit to be the fourth man?
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner. And who wins the match for Cody's team? Scott Steiner. Puts... Oh! I've even got the perfect ending because Matt Jackson has a bad back.
There you go.
Puts him in the Steiner recliner. Oh! I want it
Cody.
so bad.
Main event of All In, Scott Steiner making Matt Buck tap out.
Oh my god, that would be so... Oh, that's everything I've ever wanted in professional wrestling.
I just called him Matt Buck. I'm sorry, I meant Matt Jackson.
Yeah,
I'm not sorry, fuck him, but still.
Yeah. Okay, so after that, what's the next match? Yeah.
Then we got OVE versus Dreamer, Moose, and Edwards in a House of Hardcore match. I think this is a fun way of just saying a 6-man tag with hardcore rules.
Yeah, hardcore lucha rules.
I don't know if it's going to be lucha rules.
Well, it probably won't need tags.
Yeah, I mean, you probably won't have any tags.
Yeah.
Probably just be 6 dudes beating the shit out of each other.
That's what I just refer to as lucha rules at this point.
Okay. Well, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, technically, lucha rules are fun because in a multi-man tag match, the minute the legal man leave the ring, the first member of your team to enter the ring becomes the new legal man.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool little thing to do. So, also, we have Allie versus Su Yung for the Knockouts Championship. That's going to be a fun little match.
Yeah. You know what blew me away about the Demons Dance match?
What?
Is they went through all that bullshit not even for a title. That was just a blood feud.
Right? It was so good.
But
now, it was supposed to be a first blood match at Bound for Glory, but I don't think Pop was kosher with women bleeding. Sure, pile drive one of them through a table off the top rope. No, we're fine with that. Well, a little blood? No.
Taya Valkyrie might have a fractured vertebrae, but, God forbid she takes a razor to her face.
Right? Like, God forbid she drops a little bit of the red.
Yeah.
That looks too much like menstrual blood. All right, Pop. We get it. You're sexist, you fucks. Nah, I don't know if they're sexist. A lot of TV companies aren't really that kosher with people bleeding on live TV.
Yeah.
They cut away from sports events when people start bleeding. Unless it's UFC, then it's like, oh, look at the blood.
Right.
So, they pick and choose. But yeah, good match. This is going to be an interesting match. This is all storyline, but this is all character based. So I'm really excited for this.
Right.
And I'm really excited for Su Yung versus Rosemary. Hasn't been announced yet, but it's coming.
Rosemary has to be the next in line for a title shot against whoever wins this.
I want to say Allie's going to win it, but Rosemary and Su Young's characters are like Kane and Undertaker-esque in the vein of they're too cool and similar not to be in a feud.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe Bound for Glory will get them. Maybe we'll get at Slammiversary in July, but it's going to be interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Just don't do it on one of them Twitch streams. Save it. That's money. There's money feud. And then we have a 6-way. 6 the hard way. The Ishimori versus Desmond Xavier versus El Hijo del Fantasma, or King Cuerno if you're nasty, versus Brian Cage versus DJ Z versus Trevor Lee. One of these things is not like the other.
Wow, that's racist. Why would you say that? Just because Desmond Xavier is black doesn't mean...
So, jokes aside, you have 4 bona fide X Division guys. Phantasma, who could be an X Division guy. And then all eyes fall on Brian Cage, like, sup, bitches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt you. Oh, watch what I can do.
El Hijo del Fantasma is fucking tall, though.
I think he's like 6'2".
He's a big guy to be not to be an X Division guy, because X Division is about no limits.
He's 5'11".
He looks physically. He looks bigger than.
I think that's because all the guys he's in the ring with are my height.
Yeah.
I know they say Pentagon's 5'9".
Yeah.
Or 5'11", but bullshit. He's fucking 5'11". He's 5'6" in lifts. And
Yeah.
like he had that match at the event, against DJZ, and I think Desmond was in that as well. And DJZ's listed as 5'7", which good luck on that kid. You're probably my height, and Desmond's 5'9", which again, so yeah, he's gonna look huge. It's why half of the Lucha Underground roster is like 4'11", and that's why those 4'11" guys wrestle Matanza Cueto to make him look like a giant, even though he's 5'8".
Yeah. Jeff Cobb, not a
So
big guy, not a tall guy.
not a tall man at all.
Yeah.
So like looking at the six way, and the funny thing is, Cage used to be a cruiserweight.
Huh? Steroids are a
So
hell of a drug.
do you think it's steroids? Because he's been doing like this body transformation for like a good 8-9 years.
I believe at one point he openly admitted to having like being on and off on cycles and stating that he didn't like what steroids did to him. Like I believe most of it's natural. I'm willing to give him that.
I would imagine. I would
So
hope. I mean, he's got one hell of a physique, and he can wrestle too.
yeah.
Here's the thing I think holding Cage back. I don't know why this man is wearing a singlet.
I was literally about to make a singlet joke and then you were actually serious.
What was your singlet joke? I want to hear.
It was just gonna be a snide remark. You go the one thing I think holding Cage back, and I was just gonna go. He wrestles in a singlet.
Well, technically, that's also holding him in. But
Yeah,
so yeah, that's the card so far. I think one or two matches will be added, but for the most part, it's gonna be interesting.
right. I think it'll be good.
Can't wait to see what else is added.
hmm I think overall it's gonna be
Johnny
one.
Impact.
What was that?
I didn't hear what you said. What?
I just said overall I think it's gonna be one of the better cards of the year.
Yeah. I said one of the other matches to be added, I think, will be Impact versus Congo Kong. Not going to be a barnstormer match, man. Let's get back. That's just me.
Right. So you want to talk
Alrighty,
about?
what else we got?
Oh, I was just saying. Do you want to talk about what shows we watched and just go over what we liked and what we didn't like of WrestleMania weekend?
Sure, I watched most of the major events. I was going to try to watch WWE on live, but that didn't come to fruition. So
Right.
that's life. Impact Lucha Underground, I think I'm going to save for last because that was the best show I watched. Obviously, I watched the NXT show.
hmm
Dave Meltzer gave the ladder match and the main event 5 stars. I did not give either match 5 stars.
Fair.
The ladder match I thought was way too formulaic. It came in droves, and I'm I'm on an age where multi-man matches will never get high scores with me, really, because it takes away from the drama of it. Yeah, it's a cool spot fest. It's like Cirque du Soleil and all that, but I don't really care anymore about that shit. Like, I've been inundated with that kind of wrestling for 10 years. I want something different.
Right.
So I gave it a 4 because it was fine. Some of those spots were pretty awesome, but and that's an A, because I grade them like you would grade a test
Yeah.
or a quarter.
And
Anything from a 4 to a 5 is an A, and 3 to a 4 is B, 2 to a 3 is C, and so on and so forth.
and just to back you up on this, I probably would have given it like a 4.5. I think that Velveteen Dream almost died for our fucking sins. That kid's insane. He's a huge star, but like I like my wrestling shows to be like a buffet, where it's like I can go here, 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 and here, and get all these different things and pile them up on my plate. So it's like, okay, you have your car crash, your storytelling, your technical match, your hard hitting match, and I think that kind of helped that card round itself out. But you're right. Sometimes you're doing too much. So I'm in agreement with you that I don't think I'd necessarily give it 5 stars, but Dave Meltzer's opinion is his opinion. He's entitled
Right,
to it.
and he's always said, "I don't know why you guys care. It's just my opinion."
Mm-hmm.
So and that's fine. I use him more as a point of reference.
And that's what everybody knows. That's the best basis to go off of. So,
They also gave the main event 5 stars. Great storytelling, but there are times in a match when you just got to say, I cannot give you points for that. There were two spots, the vertical suplex off the announce table onto the floor. That was sick. It wasn't cool. It wasn't awesome. It was just sick. Like I got ill
Champa,
watching
yeah,
that.
Champa's head snapped off the padding real hard. Uh, and I assume the other spot you're gonna say is the power bomb spot.
Yeah, onto the concrete. Like no, it's watching those two spots. Like I just no. I know a lot of fans tweaked for it, but this is the same reason why I will never give the WrestleMania or TLC ladder matches a 5 stars.
Right.
Because when you have something that raises the expectation of violence, not storytelling, but violence to the nth degree, I
Yeah.
can't award you for that. I can't award you for risking lives for the sake of entertainment. If you can't tell a story in 20 minutes inside the ring without killing someone, then you're not that good at your job.
Right.
And now that being said, I think Gargano and Ciampa still had a good match. I gave it 4 stars, but when you do certain spots like that,
It's
I have to dock
you're
it.
just endangering yourself for no reason.
Yeah, because now you're raising the expectation of, well, you power bombed him on concrete this time. What's next? And I guess part of this is I remember watching D'Lo break Droz' neck,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in a ring with padding, in a move D'Lo's done 1,000 times before.
Yep.
So for me, it's like you see something so many times, you know exactly what could go wrong. You're a little bit trepidatious about certain things. So
Right.
I gave it a 4. I thought it was good. I
To
loved the ending. That was a great ending. But the spots in it were what they were, and c'est la vie.
to surmise basically what you were saying, they took an unnecessary risk in a world where if you even it doesn't even matter if you do everything right. Sometimes in wrestling it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
In a world
Mm-hmm.
where anything can happen, an unnecessary risk is one that you probably shouldn't take.
Right. And it's made almost worse by the fact that then they spent 15 minutes in the ring telling an awesome story.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't have that great climactic ending, maybe you can forgive some of the spots beforehand because they can't do it.
Right.
I'm never going to sit here and shit on Tommy Dreamer for doing hardcore because that's all he knows. That's all he can do. He's never been a good wrestler. So I'm not going to sit here and chastise and vilify him for relying on blood and weapons because how else is he going to get that reaction?
Right.
But you have two guys who everyone's saying, "Oh, they're the best in the world." Then fucking prove it. And power bombing an unprotected spine on concrete's not proving anything other than you do stupid shit for no reason.
Right.
So that's where I fall on that. The other matches were good. I really like the Aleister Black, Andrade Cien Almas, and Almas. Oh my god, how athletic is that guy?
He's really good.
He's really good.
He's really good.
So good. The Shauna Baszler stuff I thought was stupid because she's all like, my shoulder, it's dislocated. I'm gonna go off the middle rope and land on it. Hurt so bad. Oh no. I'm like, yeah.
I just want I like the spot where she rammed her shoulder into the turnbuckle post because she's trying to relocate it, but I don't think it translated to the crowd. Like everybody at home.
No one's buying it.
Everybody at home who saw what she was doing and heard Morrow screaming his ass off about it was she's trying to relocate her shoulder. It's like, oh, okay. In the context of this match, it makes sense. I guarantee most people who weren't in the first 3 rows were going, "What the fuck is happening right now?"
Mm-hmm. So she separates her shoulders, gets Ember Moon in the corner, and takes her off the middle rope, and she lands right on that quote unquote dislocated shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of just kneels and leans back. So I've dislocated a shoulder. It is some of the most intense pain because when it slips out of its socket, all the nerve endings get pinched.
Yeah.
So it's like you're on fire, and that's why people will do what you see. Like they will ram their shoulders into things to get it back into place because it's so much more painful than going through any type of physical reassertment. So that whole spot where she did that was believable, but it's not believable on the ring post that she did it on. It's not believable in the way she did it because she did it on the side of the ring. I'm gonna run into it. Normally, what you do if you're gonna try to do it yourself, which is stupid, you line up the top of your shoulder with whatever you're ramming. you step back and you ram into it.
Hmm.
So you need a good solid foundation. Mostly what they should have done was just had the paramedic grab her shoulder, put his foot underneath her armpit and pull down, because that's another way to relocate it,
Yeah.
and that would have been more effective, I think. But just watching her take that bump off the middle rope with her dislocated shoulder, quote unquote, and then not even selling it, like, really? Like, she would have been writhing in pain. Like, she would have been flopping like a fish because how
Right.
painful that should have been. So,
For
like, no, she can't sell for shit.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't a highlight, but I don't think there's much you can do to really highlight Shayna, because personally speaking, I don't get the appeal. You know,
I'm right there with you.
it,
She's Ronda Rousey's buddy, and that's why she got signed. That's why she got the belt.
I've also not really been a fan of guys or girls who are just the MMA archetype wrestler. Like, yes, there are lots of people who have been doing some type of combat sport outside of wrestling and have translated into wrestling well. Notable example, Minoru Suzuki. He's like the godfather of pancrase, but he
Mm-hmm.
wrestles a wrestler style. He still
Yeah.
does wrestling moves. He still does suplexes and German suplexes. He does technical holds. He does wrist locks and takedowns and stuff like that. He still wrestles. It's not like Matt Riddle, who's, and Matt Riddle's a bad example because Matt Riddle likes to do wrestling moves too. He likes to do big 80s selling on suplexes and he likes wrestling. I guess
Mm-hmm.
a better example would be Shayna and Sonya Deville, where a lot of her go to is striking and knees, and it just, to me, you're a wrestler for a reason, because
Mm-hmm.
you're good, because if you're in the WWE, I have to assume under some circumstance or some kind of logic loop that you're quote unquote good at what you do. So
Mm-hmm.
so do that. Don't keep chasing a dream that you're not doing anymore. Roman Reigns doesn't go out to the fucking ring. Well, he does spear people, never mind.
I was about to say, well, he does. And
But
the Undertaker brawls because he always wanted to do MMA.
but
So, like,
he never did it. He always wanted to, but he sucks.
yeah.
The best pure striker in the WWE. Maybe.
I like how they contradicted themselves, because they're like, it's the best pure striker in WWE history, and then early in the night, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Rousey. I don't know. I don't remember who it was. But somebody was teeing off on somebody, and they're like, he's the best striker in the WWE today. And I'm
Yeah.
like, come on. Like,
But I mean,
come on.
I don't like the idea of a failed athlete. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it this way. There are only two successful, like, actual athletes in the WWE outside of, who are wrestlers now, who were successful in their sport, and that's Ronda and Brock.
Yep.
And Brock was a successful wrestler before he was a successful MMA fighter. You know. And then you can get into the whole debate about whether or not Ronda was successful because she was good or because she was fed people who were, intentionally fed people who were worse than her. But
Brock Lesnar beat Frank Mir's face so badly, Frank Mir looked like the ass end of an asteroid and still lost. So, I mean, anything can happen in the world of fighting.
right. To me, it's just like, do what you're here to do. I don't personally find the knees and the brawling style to be super, uh, like, entertaining. I liked what Ronda did. I like that she did a lot of wrestling. She did clotheslines and she did, her roll through and the Samoan drop and all that. Like, she tried to have like a legitimate wrestling match, and then she didn't even go to what she knows. She was never known as a striker. The only
No.
reason that she did the striking spots is because it was cool to watch.
Yeah.
You
She
know?
was a judo thrower, and she did incorporate some of that, but judo throwing is cool.
Yeah, and the striking spots were cool because in the context of the match, the best striker the best wrestler in that match is obviously Kurt. When you talk about technical wrestling, gold
Mm-hmm.
medalist, broken freaking neck, blah blah blah, um, and then she can outstrike anybody in that match. It makes sense that she would strike with Triple H and Stephanie the way she did,
Mm-hmm.
and it was honestly funny to me. And it's super entertaining to watch Triple H fucking squirming in the corner as Ronda's beating the shit out of him. You know, I
So so back to your point. I just want to
yeah,
point this out, and then we can move on to the rest of the card.
yeah,
If Dan Severn couldn't get over as badass MMA guy, no one can.
yeah,
Stop it. Ken Shamrock was not over as badass MMA guy. Ken Shamrock was over because he was a psychopath
right,
who just happened to be the world's most dangerous man.
right.
So that's it. And Shayna Baszler has nothing to offer. She's 38. This is as good as she's going to be, and it's not that good.
Yeah.
And Little Chief Alex, he's so she's got such an allure, such an aura. You mean the same aura that Sonya Deville has, and Brock Lesnar has, and Ronda Rousey has, and maybe Conor McGregor if he comes in? You mean that aura?
Yeah, it's
No,
I'm
she's getting pushed because of who she knows.
yeah, I don't really care for her, but it's like you made a good point. Like I think the reason that, as much as I hate to admit it, I think that Matt Riddle is over on the Indies is because he actually does wrestling. He does.
No,
He does what.
Matt Riddle's over on the Indies because he has a personality, which is very rare for an indie wrestler.
That's also true, but like he does his version of wrestling. I don't know if you. I'm not gonna say I don't know if you've ever seen one of his matches, but if you watch his matches closely, you see that all of his big spots and his false finishes are always just like goofy moves that he shouldn't do, but he does anyways. Where he's like, one of my big false finishes is a fisherman buster. And it's like, good, good. It's a fisherman buster. Cool. All right. It's not a knee or like a big roundhouse kick. Like, good. It's like it makes sense that he does the go to the bro to sleep as he calls it.
Well, if there's anyone who's gonna just fucking take that bro gimmick to a new X gimmick, it's him.
Definitely is him.
Fucking
Um,
prototypical bro.
So, before we go on to like any of the bigger matches, did you watch any like smaller stuff?
I like I said, I wanted to watch the Vitamin Live, but I didn't get a chance to check it out. So I watched NXT and Ring of Honor and Impact from this week, plus WrestleMania, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was about it. Although I am kind of queued up to watch the actual WrestleCon show, which happened the night before
Yeah.
Impact's show, and I think there was another one that happened. Oh, I also watched House of Hardcore,
Oh, okay.
but I would consider that to be a mid-major, not so much a indie.
Well, the big ones for me are Ring of Honor, all the WWE stuff, NXT, and then Impact. And
Mhm.
then for me, everything under that is like, okay, stuff that just gets like, just like really the stuff that people who are there to see because they're in town. You know, like I'm sure some of the stuff got good eyes on it because it was like goofy or whatever, like Joey Janela's Spring Break. But
Yeah,
it's really a lot of stuff was like, okay, there's a lot of people in town. We're gonna get a good house. Let's have a show. You know?
that's what's so hilarious about the House of Hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
They did their shit at like 1 in the morning.
Did they draw a good crowd?
No,
Ew.
there's maybe like 300 people there.
What night was that?
Shit. I want to say Saturday?
Like 1 a.m. on Saturday?
Yeah.
I haven't. I know exactly why it didn't draw.
Oh, yeah. Well, my thought was, because it ended at 3 in the fucking morning and
It
WrestleMania's the next day.
it also went on the same time slot as Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Yeah, but there's only so many tickets.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure that sold out before House of Hardcore did. Not any offense to House of Hardcore or the talent that they had there, but the shit that Joey Janela was, not Joey Janela, but GCW was offering with Joey Janela as the quote unquote booker was fucking ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
um,
To be fair, though, I have no interest in that man anymore.
okay, so I'll go into that real quick because that's one of the ones that I watched.
Okay.
So there were a bunch of matches on it that I didn't care about, and or honestly were okay. They had the big scramble fuck. It's literally called a scramble match, and it was like it's basically like a Royal Rumble, but it was more like the what the fuck is it called? The New Japan Rumble,
Okay.
where pin, submission, thrown over the top rope, right?
Hmm.
That one was fucking ridiculous because, goddamn, they had an invisible man in the match. They had fucking one of my favorite indie talents, fucking Orange Cassidy was in the match. He's so fucking funny. MJF,
Soldier Ant?
I don't know if he was Soldier. I don't know. All I know him is Orange Cassidy.
I want to say he was either Green Ant or Soldier Ant.
Probably, considering that fucking Chikara loves to double up on there.
Dude, Sakura has like 5 wrestlers on it. We all know that, right?
Yeah. I'm looking on Cage Match and it just says that he was JC Ryder and Orange Cassidy. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean, do you know Orange Cassidy's gimmick?
Vaguely.
So his whole gimmick is that he's like super lazy and like relaxed and he's slow. So I shit you not, on his way to the ring, the ramp wasn't that long. On his way to the ring, he's just walking at the slowest fucking pace. 3 other competitors made their entrance into the match and passed him as he was like laying on the guardrail, like spilling into the crowd basically. Like it's almost like he's like stuck in this weird like high all the time, and it's fucking great because he finally makes his way into the ring, and at the time that he gets into the ring, the two main guys left standing are fucking all ego Ethan Page, Chandler Park, and MJF. You know, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I think his name is. Um,
Hmm.
and Orange Cassidy just starts throwing limp punches that are like barely connecting, throwing leg kicks to the ankle that he's just like putting no effort behind, spinning back fists where he spins super slow, you know, like that. And then they just fucking lamp him and he goes down and then he jumps up and he's got the surge of adrenaline. He starts beating the fuck out of just all of them. And it's like it's a really cool gimmick because like I believe on one of the Thursday shows, I don't know which one it was, Orange Cassidy did a Canadian Destroyer where he just like crouched them down real low and then he just kind of sunset flipped over them and then he did it to Joey Janela and then he pulled Joey Janela over him and Joey Janela just kind of did like a back roll and then sold it like he spiked himself. So Orange Cassidy is very much a comedy wrestler. Um, all in all, Mikey Whipwreck was in the scramble match. It's fucking awesome. He did a standing Frankensteiner to Ethan Page.
Hmm.
Um, Spider Nate Webb was in the fucking scramble match. I think he actually ended up. No, he didn't win. Uh, the Invisible Man won. That's right. Um, but yeah, and then the other two matches on the card that were really good. This for me was match of the weekend. I'm sure anybody out there can disagree. You can even disagree with me because I know how you feel about matches where dudes just beat the fuck out of each other.
Hmm.
But Pierre Carl Ouellet versus Walter was so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, I saw the post match bruises. That's a great way to get a heart defect.
I it was so crazy that a man that's 50 years old could still do the things that he did.
I don't think it's that crazy. He was always really in good shape. Plus, he spent most of the last 14, 15 years away from wrestling.
Yeah,
So like his body's still really fresh.
he's
It's not like Kurt Angle or Jeff Jarrett who've been wrestling to their 50s.
he's crazy tough. Did you see some of the training videos that he put out for this match? Like to kind
Nah.
of hype it up. He was doing chin ups on a pool bar with
With
chains
his
wrapped.
eye socket.
No, no. Um,
That's so funny.
he's doing chin ups with the fucking chains hanging off him, you know, for weight. And his trainer, I don't know who it is smacking him in the stomach with a frying pan. And then he just drops off the pool bar, grabs the frying pan, and fucking bends it like Mark Henry style.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, he is a strong man from Canada, so I mean that
yeah.
makes sense.
I
So
yeah, it was really good. For me, it was match of the weekend. Like I had so many crazy, like I was like a fanboy, like a 10-year-old watching wrestling all over again. So
So the rule of thumb is that Soldier Ant was Drew Gulak, and that Fire Ant is Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
So little investigative research for you.
Yeah. And then the main event was Joey Janela versus Great Sasuke.
Which I mean, okay,
It was something.
he's Joe Janelle still someone I'll never get into. So
No,
thanks, Joey.
that's fine. I mean, it's I just, man, Great Sasuke to me is like this weird anomaly. You know, like I don't get the barrel.
You don't get it?
Why does he jump off of things with a barrel on his head?
I mean, why not?
That's fair. You know, um, I thought overall it was a good card. Um, you know, again, I'm saying it's down to preference and what you like in wrestling. I thought Walter and PCO was a fucking barn burner of a match. I thought it was really good. Um, but I'm just gonna, I'm gonna leave that for other people to decide. That's just my
So
opinion.
here's why I didn't want to get involved with his show. Um, so the night before, he news breaks that he's out on the streets of New Orleans, and I had intended on watching the show because like whatever, it's a lot of hype for the show. Let's check it out. And he sees a drunk fan, and he pile drives the drunk fan on concrete.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just said, "This is every reason why you will need to never be a fan of his." And he's like, "You gonna watch the show?" I'm like, "No."
yeah.
And then the night after, he's like, I saw some dude come back into the ring with a concussion and wrestle. He's such a badass. And I'm like, why are you, of all the things we know about concussions
Oh,
and
I
head
know
injuries, you're
what
going to advocate for this bullshit?
I know what you're talking about. That was Darby Allen on the
Yeah,
fucking Evolve 102 show.
the ghost kid or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
yeah, he got I don't know what had like because he kept coming back into the ring.
He got legitimately knocked out, and the ringside doctor was actively trying to restrain him from entering the ring again, but he kept pushing him off. And now listen, when you're concussed, you don't know what you're doing, so I'm not going to sit here and shit on the kid.
Yeah,
He's 22, 23, 24 years old, and I'm sure he doesn't realize which way it was at the time. But Joey Janela apparently was in the match or near him, and it was like, yeah, it's the most badass thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, all right, let's just look at this. Let's take the fact that he could have killed himself out of the equation.
yeah,
He could have killed somebody else. If he's that concussed, because his face was red, his chest was red, his neck was red, that's a concussive impact concussion when you're basically accordioned, if you will. And that's one of the more intense forms of concussions because like you get absent-minded. You don't know which way is up. You basically are performing drunk at that point. Had he broken someone's neck, would Joey Janela still be saying, "Oh, most insane thing I ever seen? What a badass!" No, fuck Joey Janela. And fucking his show, he's being advertised. It's a piece of shit.
yeah, that's fair.
But I'm glad you enjoyed the show.
Um, yeah,
And I know it wasn't
I
actually
did watch
it
the
was GCW.
what?
I know it wasn't actually his show. It was
Yeah,
GCW.
I did watch the Evolve 102 show.
Is that the one with was it Keith Lee and
Keith Lee was on it. Yeah, I don't remember who he faced.
because what so Gabe Sapolsky I think it was tweeted out that Matt Riddle had the greatest match of his career over the weekend.
I
So
don't. I
obviously
think that might have been 103.
okay, so it was an Evolve show though.
Yeah, they had two shows that weekend.
They usually run two shows in a weekend, so that's not
Yeah.
surprising.
I'm
I
trying
like
to
House of
see.
Hardcore.
Let me see here. Oh, it might have been that one actually. He had a match with Zack Sabre Jr. for the Evolve
That
Championship.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was Riddle versus Sabre. That's what it was. And then apparently Keith Lee had a barn burner with who the fuck did he face at Access?
Oh, Cassius. Oh no.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So good weekend for Keith Lee as well.
Yeah. So apparently Darby Allin got the concussion in the match with Keith Lee, I think maybe, because they faced each other at 102, and then he walked in on a match with someone later in the night. I don't even know what it was, but he got and then oh, like I think he came out. Oh yeah, that's right. So he had his match with Keith Lee because it was like the small kid versus the gigantic man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came out at the end of the Daisuke Sekimoto and Minoru Sawa versus Ring Kampf match.
Mm-hmm.
Walter and Timothy Thatcher, and like Walter didn't want to like do anything with him. Walter just kind of was like, "All right, dude." I'm, I think Walter maybe like chopped him in the chest once and just sent him because I mean you saw the bruises on PCO's chest. Walter's chops are fucking stiff.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a problem with
but
that.
from what I understand is like Allen was out of it and like kind of like was like telling Walter to fucking hit him or do something, and he like they lost control of the kid after he got concussed, which is not to say it's all Evolve's fault, but some kind of you have to have some kind of blame to put on them for like, hey, the kid's obviously concussed or out of it. Can we get him out of the building? Don't just like lose track of him and let him start wandering around. Even if you think something's up, even if you're not for sure. Like, hey, maybe we should just get him checked out. You know?
When you have a ringside doctor who, because this is what I saw on Twitter. When you have a ringside doctor basically go, yeah, he ruled him at ringside to be unable to get in the ring. You need to make sure he does not get into the ring, then, doctor.
Yeah.
Like it's a very simple fucking point of emphasis. Like that's your job. That's literally your lone job is to protect the safety of someone who can't protect themselves.
Right.
So I don't know if you place that on the doctor or on Evolve. Personally, I would go with the overseeing physician because that's literally his job.
Yeah.
Because usually how these shows go, for those who don't know, you have a doctor and then you have a paramedic crew. They're not one and the same people. So you would have the doctor who would be the one taking care of Darby Allin, and the EMTs would be able to take care of any other immediate medical emergencies while Darby Allin's being evaluated by the doctor. So there definitely was a issue with how that transpired.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Obviously.
um, other than that, it was a decent card. There was like a triple threat tag team or like a four-way tag team match that didn't make much sense because it was for the Evolve Championships, which are held by uh Chris
Catchpoint
Chris Dickinson and
and
Jaka.
Jaka.
Yeah. But the titles were on the line, but the only way Dickinson and Jaka could lose the belts if they were the ones who got pinned. And then the team, the End, I don't know what their names are.
Odinson and Perro.
Yeah, they beat. I think it was James Drake. They pinned James Drake, who was teaming with Anthony Henry. Um, and won the match, but didn't win the belts.
Because
So
that makes sense.
yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me. But it was a good match overall. It was a good, multi-man clusterfuck style match. Um,
And then Riddle took home the belt in the main event with
yeah,
Cena.
yeah. They, from what I remember of their match, and I only say that not because it wasn't memorable, but because I consumed a lot of wrestling
Oh yeah.
over the
Yeah.
past week, even like, um, but yeah, it was a good match. I, say what you want about the guys themselves, like whether you like Sabre Jr. or whether you like Matt Riddle. Personally, is like what they do in the ring is good stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, what else did I watch that was smaller? Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, which was also a GCW thing. It was the entire event was contested under the rules of no pins, submissions or knockouts only, knockouts quote unquote. And there were no ropes on the ring, so it was just ring post, mat, and then ring post, the elevated mat, and then that go to town. Um, trying to
So,
remember.
so wait, I need to clarify what we were just talking about.
Yeah,
It was not in at all with anything with Evolve. It
what?
happened at This Is Progress, and it happened in a match with Joey Janela.
Darby Allen?
Yes, Joey Janela tweeted because I was googling to see if I could find when he got hurt,
Oh,
And it came back to the tweet he posted before, and he said, "I just want to take a second to say that Darby Allin is the most badass wrestler in the world. Suffered a concussion with me yesterday and at a Progress show, and refused to leave it against doctor's orders and finish the thing. Wrestling like nothing was wrong. Absolutely superhuman."
Oh well, no, fuck that. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
on
dangerous.
that's on
That's
Progress.
that's
Then
dangerous as fuck. And for fucking piece of shit bad boy Joey Janela to put him over like that is just it's asinine.
yeah, the doctor doesn't matter if he refused. They should have stopped the match. I don't
Yeah, they
the
really
fans could
should.
have fucking booed them out of the building. I don't care. I would much rather see Darby Allin walk out of there with his fucking career intact and be able to wrestle again than potentially ending his fucking life. You know, because
I,
all it takes with a concussion is just for him to get knocked out and it's lights out.
I look at wrestling with concussion the same way I look at it as drunk driving. I could give a fuck if you kill yourself. What I worry about is what you're going to do to somebody else because you're too ignorant to listen to someone else.
Right.
That's what always pisses me off. You know, like, how dare you put somebody else's life in danger because you're too much of a dumbass?
Yeah.
This really soured me on George and all as a
Yeah.
human being.
No,
Like
I
this
completely
is some
understand.
BJ Whitmer level douchebaggery.
Yeah.
But
I
I have a
understand.
feeling that this dude bro mentality is going to be becoming more and more prevalent because while not so significant, but you know, like you see some of this in Matt Riddle, not to this degree. He's got the personality, not the nonsense. Joey
Yeah.
Janela's got the nonsense. But I'm worried that this is going to become a new thing. Like these trash bag Trumpian like people are going to be coming more and more into wrestling.
Yeah.
Not all right with that.
But yeah, Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, the main event, is the only thing I really remember, and it was supposed to be Matt Riddle versus Low Key, but Low Key had to pull out due to the fact that I think he's injured and he wasn't cleared by the Louisiana State Athletic Committee. Um, so they
No, Loki just bailed.
ah
Is the story?
whatever.
He pulled a Cesaro. He didn't want to put over somebody, so he's like, "Oh my head,
Yeah.
oh my neck."
Well, it doesn't matter.
And he went
We
home.
got a better main event out of it anyways, because instead of Matt Riddle versus Low Key, we got Matt Riddle versus Minoru fucking Suzuki, and it was good. It was just those two dudes grappling and striking and doing it was literally showing like, hey, here is Matt Riddle's MMA background, letting him do his thing that he did for so long, whether you want to say he did it well or poorly, versus again the Godfather of Pancrase, and it was so cool. I think it was more cool for me seeing Minoru Suzuki do his thing, uh, and Minoru Suzuki did go over, so
He
as he
did.
should. Yeah, as he should.
Well, here's the thing: when you're trying to build, this was Matt Riddle's show, right?
Yeah, it was GCW again.
Okay,
But
and Matt Riddle has, whether you like him or not, has really established himself as a draw.
hmm
So I don't have a problem with him going over, considering the sole purpose of him being on the Indies in his own is to get better.
right.
So if he goes over, I have no issue with that. But I think that's a cool way because Suzuki doesn't wrestle in the States often.
Yeah, and the show ended with Suzuki and Riddle celebrating, and Riddle bowed to Suzuki, and Suzuki stood him up. They hugged and embraced, and then Suzuki raised his hand, and then Suzuki left and let Riddle have the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really cool, I think that's a more important rub for Matt Riddle than getting the win. He earned
True.
Suzuki's respect. And
Yeah.
that's a motherfucker that you want to earn respect from.
I think if you're not a total douche, I think you're gonna earn respect though.
Right.
Like that's the thing. I always kind of I think Suzuki's gimmick is far more for show than him personally.
Oh, no.
Does that make sense?
I'm talking in kayfabe.
Right. No, but well, I think in general, when someone of that ilk does that for you, period, that's a big deal.
Yeah, no,
But
you're
like,
absolutely right.
I feel like Suzuki's more like the guy, like, hey, you want to go see that new Disney movie? Okay.
Yeah. No, for sure. I don't think that, Suzuki was just doing it because, oh, he won, I won, it's his show, we'll put him over, he's the new star, blah, 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 whatever. I think Suzuki probably did it because he's like, this kid is the future.
Mm.
he's a good kid. You know, he can say kid because Suzuki's 50 years old, and say this is the future. We had a barn burner. This is respect. You know, like, and he showed respect for me. I'm gonna show him respect. It's a mutual respect type thing, not just like, oh, I got, you know, this is what we do when we're trying to build a star. You know, running through the motions, going through the cycles.
Suzuki's not 50 years old. He's simply been on the Earth for 50 revolutions around the sun.
Right.
He's still only 24.
You're right. I wish, dude. Have you seen young Suzuki?
I'm sure it looks
Fucking
just like current Suzuki.
no, he was fucking handsome.
Was he?
Yeah, I'll just look up young Minoru Suzuki and I'll send it to you. He was a handsome dude.
He looks like you know, villain Furious movie.
What was that?
I mean, does he not?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said he looks like the villain from the first Fast and Furious movie.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
That's funny as fuck.
I
Way
just
too many times in life. I think that's adorable. He has like this Elvis
yeah.
quap haircut.
Do you see
Oh,
it?
that's funny.
All right, I don't have to send it to you
Oh,
then. But yeah, Minoru Suzuki's the man.
so did you hear Shibata say he's not retired?
I think that's wishful thinking on his behalf. Honestly.
I mean, when you suffer a fucking stroke because you punched your fucking head too hard. I
Yeah.
mean, he headbutted the guy, but still. I mean, that's a new level of just what?
I
But then again, we look at Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I no, you're absolutely right, and I don't want to say that it's not possible for him to make a return, but at the same time, it's also a very good chance that he's in the denial stage of grief right now, where he's
It's
refusing to accept the fact that he has to retire.
I would almost agree with that, but it's been over a year, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but these things take time.
I would imagine though at this point, I don't know. Like, I don't want to speak for the guy because like you might be right. We're speaking off of just thoughts and theories here. But part of me, like, I don't know if he's going to be cleared ever. But part of me thinks that if he was never going to be cleared again, he'd be honest about that. Because he seems like one of those dudes he's very blunt about things.
Yeah,
Like, he's not going to sugarcoat it. Like, all right, can't do it, whatever, fuck it. But, he said, I'm not retired, I'm still recovering.
right,
So,
and
who knows?
he may honestly believe that, but there's going to either come a day where someone is going to look at him, and this is Japan. They're a lot more strict and a lot less lenient on people, suffering huge health problems like what he has and returning to dangerous activities like professional wrestling. So um, there's probably going to come a day where he's going to see a doctor and the doctor's going to go yes or no, and then I have a feeling he's going to have to live with that result whether he likes it or not. So
Speaking of results that don't make any sense, so Vader says he's on the road to recovery. Great news. Love to hear that. He's
yeah,
right there. But he didn't say on the road to recovery. No, no. What he said was on a road to the return to the ring.
not a good idea.
No. Well, I mean, okay, here. When you have heart issues, what they basically tell you is, do things that you know you can do. Be active and work out. So if he can do a match like Jerry Lawler is medically cleared to wrestle still.
Yeah,
If he can do matches that aren't that taxing, I mean, there's no reason not to. But I'm thinking, how is this man over 60 and hasn't had to get a knee or hip replacement yet? This dude's been carrying around like 300 plus pounds every day of his life. Like, come on.
yeah,
It'll be interesting. And by the way, you are obviously because before I was like, hey, look, he had his triple bypass. Now he can type better. Probably his son.
probably
I'm
his
like,
son.
no,
Yeah.
Totally him. And now he's like, oh, okay, no, he's back. He's back. No, he's tweeting again. Good to hear about Vader. That makes me happy. And Joe fucking Doring's like, hey, I had a brain tumor. Now I'm gonna just win some belts. And oh, look at that, I won some belts. And the brain tumor's gone currently. So yeah, this is a good year for wrestling. Daniel Bryan's back in the ring. He's constantly clutching his head, and it's making me scared to death. So that's cool. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah.
Twat. And he's doing it just to piss. He's doing it to take the piss out of fans. Like, you know it.
Yeah.
That whole spot at WrestleMania where he did the kip up and like he's clutching his head. He's like, "Oh no!" And then he kipped up. Like, oh, you dick bag.
He's a smart wrestler.
I would like to see him stop doing those cornered kicks, those cornered drop kicks.
At least doing them so wildly.
Yeah, because like Dean Malenko, I never remember landing on his head, like, ever. But he only ever did the step up heel kick.
Yeah.
So like, why can't Brian take that approach? Sit down with Dean and be like, Dean, teach me your style. Make me one of you, Grasshopper. That would be great. Like, that's because like Brian is a guy who, like, when he was successful in Ring of Honor, granted he took a lot of shots because he was just a chaotic striker with like the Noah guys. But if you stop taking fucking forearm shivers to the head, why not just become the next Matt dude? Like, he can do it. We know he can do it. He went from being Dean Malenko to Chris Benoit, and it made no sense.
Right.
Anyway, so what else did you watch this weekend?
The last small show, and I didn't watch it this weekend, I watched it after the fact, was Wrestling Revolvers, Pancakes, and Pile Drivers.
That's interesting. Who did is Wrestling Revolvers the company, or that's the name?
Wrestling Revolver is the company, and I believe it's Sammy Callahan's company.
Oh, so that's gonna be just insane.
Yeah. Trying to think, what was the match that? Oh yeah, so the opener was. Fuck, who was the opener? I know the opener was Jeff Cobb. Pancakes
Book it.
and Pile Drivers.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, Jeff Cobb, you whore.
What?
I go to his fucking profile, and he's got like 30 companies in the first 4 months of the goddamn year.
He is
a whore.
He is a draw.
Fucking, good on him, man. But like,
oh, I think it was him versus Shane Strickland.
Shane Strickland, yeah.
Yep. The match that really stood out on that card was fucking the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero M and Phoenix versus Teddy Hart and Jack Evans.
A match being brought to you soon by Impact Wrestling.
I fucking love... Dude, alright. I heard a comment when I was watching the Impact versus Lucha show that fucking made me laugh so hard.
Was it from Matt Stryker or Josh Matthews? Because they were amazing.
No, it was from Johnny, one of the new Legacy Inc. guys. It was right at the start of the Steiner Teddy Hart versus... who did they face?
OVE.
OVE. Yeah, it was right at the start of that match. When Teddy Hart starts the match and does fucking 4 finishing moves in a row. And Johnny goes, there is nothing more Teddy Hart than him doing 4 finishes as his starting moves.
Yep.
I fucking how in 2018 in the year 2018 of professional wrestling, Teddy Hart and Scott Steiner
tag team of the year, man.
I fucking love, and I'm totally with you. Like I'm on. It took 2 matches, and I'm back on the hype train of like, God, I hope he's staying straight, and I hope he's got his head on his shoulders. Because if Teddy Hart's making a comeback in 2018, I'm all aboard.
So Teddy's always been one of those guys. He's probably the most talented Hart member you'll ever see. But the problem with Teddy Hart is he knows it. And the even bigger problem with Teddy Hart is he's not afraid to flaunt it, and it gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be kind of problematic for Teddy.
Right.
So everyone who talked to Teddy or talked about Teddy always fucking mentioned over the weekend that yeah, we met Teddy and his cat because Teddy Hart refuses to travel without his cat. Doesn't go anywhere without him.
His cat got stolen from him, actually.
What?
Yeah, this one. I think this is probably one of the reasons he started getting on the straight and narrows, because the road he was going down, the girl he was with, apparently stole Mr. Money, his cat, and was like holding him ransom from him. And
What was that?
a while ago, I remember listening to I don't know which episode it is. It's one of the most recent, like Officer and a Gentleman's or Best Friend. Yeah, it's like an Officer and a Gentleman with Chuck Taylor and Dan Barry. It was a recent one. It may have been like the Mark Haskins and Travis Banks episode or the one before that. I don't remember, but they were talking about Teddy Hart and how he's just like something happened with Mr. Money.
Oh
So
damn!
yeah, so
Because he popped up on the fucking it was like a 3 or 4 day Twitch stream
yeah,
from Impact.
yeah,
And he walks by and the cat's on his shoulder, and I think it was like Sanjay's like, "Hey Teddy, nice cat," and Teddy's like, "Thanks."
yeah,
And then the cat like wanders off into frame when they're doing an interview. It's some funny shit, man.
yeah,
Teddy's a weird dude.
yeah. The Best Friends did. Chuck and Trent did an interview with him for Poppin' Dogs and Talking Hogs, and it got fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He started
I think I
talking.
saw that.
He started talking about the whole fucking rape allegations against him, and how the cops had forced their way into. He was holding cops at gunpoint in his house and making them watch a documentary about his life.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man.
He's a fucking crazy person. He's legit insane. But if he's on the straight and narrow, I'm all for it, especially because he wrestles in those fucking ridiculous outfits.
The charges about his sexual assault allegations were dropped in 2016.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
No, just for anyone who doesn't.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, Marty DeRosa had his first ever wrestling match on Pancakes and Pile Drivers.
Marty DeRosa.
Yeah, he does the Wrestling with Depression podcast, and also the We Love Wrestling podcast with Marty and Sarah. He's a friend of Colt Cabana's. He's the bearded guy, the bald bearded guy.
Can't be any worse than fucking Conrad.
It was Colt Cabana and Marty DeRosa versus Joey Ryan and Session Moth Martina. Her gimmick is also very.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, so I don't know what Session Moth means, but her whole gimmick is that she's like a rave chick, like kind of like a trashy white trash rave chick, because she comes to the ring with like shitty beer and not smoking a cigarette, but she has a cigarette, and she one of her things is instead of Mr. Sacco, she has Mr. Condom. And so
Ew.
she pulls a condom out of her pants, and then she gives you the mandible claw.
Yeah, I'm never taking that move ever.
I feel bad for Colt Cabana. I'm sure it doesn't touch anything, but it's still a lubricated condom.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, not
So
like
this is definitely
not like a sock
this.
is much better.
So all right, let's just go back a decade. So you're the parents of Daisy Hayes, and you're like, Daisy, we love you. You're the best child we ever had. And then her illegitimate sister, fucking Martina's like, really, bitch? Because that's what I feel like this is. This is clearly Daisy Hayes' illegitimate half sister, who's just so tired of her older sister getting all the love in her hippy dippy family. I don't ever need to see this chick wrestle. And obviously she's from Ireland.
She is from Ireland.
Obviously she's from fucking Ireland.
Yeah. So she comes out to Darude Sandstorm.
Oh, it's so generic.
Right.
We get it. You like the '90s chick. We get it. Good. You're so cool.
That was actually really good. Eddie Kingston was on the card. He had a match against Juice Robinson.
Oh, oh, that must have been. Did he
It
beat
was
the shit out of Juice Robinson?
Juice won, I think.
Oh,
But
really?
but
Well,
Eddie looked
he may
good.
have won, but did he get the shit kicked out of him?
Oh yeah,
Juice?
King got him. God, King is looking fucking good lately. Have you seen how much weight he's lost?
Kingston?
Yeah, he's trimmed down a lot. He
No, I think I saw one of his matches early after his
oh
Impact release, but
he had a match. I forget who it was against. He had a match on Bloodsport actually, Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, and he wrestled in like just a legit singlet.
huh?
Yeah, and
Like no pants?
no pants, legit singlet. Looked really good. Also, Matt Riddle was in his corner for his match, and he was in Matt Riddle's corner for the Suzuki match. And when Suzuki walked by him, Kingston legit got as close to the ring post as he could and used both arms to cover his head. And Suzuki like stared at him when he got back in the ring. Suzuki turned and looked at him, and his hand shot straight up in the air, and he just went, "I'm not doing anything." Kingston's fucking great.
So all of these matches were 5-6 minutes at this Bloodsport event.
Yeah, none of them went super long.
Is that like God damn it? Dan Severn was on this show.
Yeah, he was. I forgot who he faced.
Chris Dickinson.
Chris Dickinson, that's right.
So that's just I might have to check out this show. What was it, like an hour long show, 2 hour long show?
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. Like I said, the stipulation was there were no ropes on the ring, and it was the no pins. It was submissions and knockouts only. Obviously nobody actually got knocked out.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So to update about Teddy Hart, spokesperson with Alberta Justice says the Crown, which is their legal proceedings, the court and such, determined after review that the case did not meet the criteria needed to proceed. So he wasn't exonerated, but there wasn't enough to go forward. So.
Right.
So Teddy Hart had a busy weekend because he was also at House of Hardcore. Was there anything else you wanted to mention from the shows you watched?
No, just all that's left is we can just talk about like the big stuff that happened, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
So House of Hardcore had maybe all of people because it's like 4 in the fucking morning, and that was awesome because I didn't think there was live wrestling on at that time of the night ever in the year. So I was like, ooh, yes, please.
Right.
And it was at the Sugar Mill, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Just the coolest little fucking place in the world.
Yeah, no, Sugar Mill's a great little place.
Probably 1,300 fans could probably fit in there, maybe more.
Right.
So, Jay Spade defeated Matt Lance. You don't know. Alex Reynolds advanced in the House of Hardcore TV title tournament by defeating Swoggle, which fuck that. Willie Mack had one of the better matches of the night with Killer Cross. I like Killer Cross. He's someone that he's like Matt Riddle if Matt Riddle didn't know how to be a dude, bro.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe his style. He has the MMA influences with the elbows and the knees, but he does a lot of submission wrestling, and he's also just a giant prick. So,
right.
That's fun. The Rock and Roll Express at 98 with Hurricane Helms defeated the Spirit Squad World Order the Squad World Order with Kenny and Mikey, Kenny Dykstra and Mikey, fuck is his name? Hang on.
Mike Mondo?
Yes, thank you. And their little underling, Randy, who's, I think he's from the House of Hardcore school.
Okay.
MVP defeated Carlito in a match straight out of 2007. Joey Ryan defeated Teddy Hart. Super Crazy defeated Ace Romero, Clayton Gaines, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed. I don't know why you put the guy with the name in the match with a bunch of kids and then have the guy with the name go over, but that's...
Wait, what was the entire match?
Ace Romero, Clayton Gaines. Oh, I'm sorry. No. I think it's a 5-way. It's Ace Romero, Clayton Gaines, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed in a 5-way.
Who is the fifth person?
Super Crazy.
Oh, Super Crazy. Okay.
That's why it seems so out of place.
Trey Miguel and Myron Reed are Dayton boys.
Are they?
Yeah,
cool.
they're
are they from OVE?
Yep, they're OVE boys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then Austin Aries defeated Brian Cage in a heck of a match. Brian Cage was not wearing a singlet. That made me a happy boy.
Yeah, I think he only wears singlets for like certain companies because I think that's the look they ask for him. Like I know in Lucha and Impact, and then for PWG he always wore trunks.
I don't know why Impact wants him to wear fucking singlets, man. I know he does for Lucha because that was part of the whole shtick, but still. Dude, trunks on this dude looks so much better. He's the inverse of Scott Steiner. Let him show off.
He's a machine.
Yes. Killer Elite Squad defeated Tommy Dreamer and Billy Gunn in a Bourbon Street fight because, of course, Tommy Dreamer needed to be in the second to last goddamn match of the night because, obviously.
At least he wasn't the main.
Well, he's always in the last. I think like once he hasn't been in the last two.
Right.
Then in a triple threat for the House of Hardcore Twitch TV Championship with Jerry Lynn as the special guest referee, Sammy Callahan, who just kind of Andre his way into the tournament finals. Willie Mack and Alex Reynolds had a pretty good showcasing. MJF was there. He was seconding Alex Reynolds act.
Okay.
And Willie Mack went over and won the first ever House of Hardcore TV Championship. It was a fun little show.
Great.
Definitely wouldn't say there's any like match theater or kind of things on this. Willie Mack really made himself look like a fucking stud in that venue between the House of Hardcore event and the Impact event the night before. Like solid stuff all around from him and just beautifully done. Dug it. Dug the hell out of it.
That's good.
Then we had Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor. That's what it was. And so we were talking before, at least I think you and I were talking this before, that Ring of Honor doesn't have promo guys. Or at least they're not typically known for their promo guys.
Yeah, no, they're known for doing wrestling.
Yes. And Cody the night or the week before had the fucking promo of the year where he said, you know, Kenny wants to talk about how reject from the company. But what he fails to realize is he's a reject from their developmental company. And the whole audience just went, oh! And Cody just kind of smiled, that fucking shit-eating grin he has. He's like, yes, the truth hurts. And it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
So, promo guy.
So that's actually something I wanted to talk about before we get into Supercard of Honor. Let's talk about Cody for a minute.
How great he is at everything he does.
Because this is super interesting to me. So obviously, to anybody who watches wrestling, Cody's the heel, right?
Yep.
But why?
Bullet Club is fine.
Here's my point. As someone who watches wrestling religiously, not to say that I we know
what's up. Is what
yeah,
we're saying.
I'm not to say that I'm trying to like shit on people, be like, you didn't catch this part, so obviously you're wrong. To me, Cody's not the bad guy. Cody is doing everything in his power to make Bullet Club, and I don't want to steal a line from a piece of shit running the country, but to make Bullet Club great again. He's trying to make Bullet Club not a shadow of what it once was. Kenny Omega, and this was from Cody's point of view, and what I agree with, is selfish. When Kenny took over, it became the Elite and Bullet Club. He started doing things for him. It was always about what can Kenny do next. I'm having 5-star matches with, Okada. I'm the guy who's at the top, and it's about me, and I'm the star, and I'm going to take this company to new places. I'm going to take New Japan to new places. Meanwhile, you have Tamatonga and Bad Luck Fale going, well, what about Bullet Club? And what about Bullet Club? And what about Bullet Club? Then Cody comes in. And when Cody comes in, things, are pretty much the same for the most part. Kenny's still the leader. Cody's just there to put star power in Bullet Club. But then, Cody becomes the fan favorite. You can boo Cody all you want, but you still love what Cody's doing. He's one of those heels that no matter how many heelish things he does, he's still going to get cheered. So, obviously it comes to the point where there's a power struggle and people have to start choosing sides, which is where we're at now. And the thing is that anybody who actually wants the success of Bullet Club to continue would choose Cody because he has Bullet Club's best interest at heart, doing what's best for Bullet Club. Because and this is only something that you're going to get if you watch the series. There was a time when Kenny and the Bucks tried to, quote unquote, the way they took out Adam Cole in this the Being the Elite series is that they poisoned his monster and he fucking died on the floor of PWG. Um, yeah, so they tried to do the same thing to Tama Tonga because they were afraid that Tama was going to split away and take the BCOGs with him from to split away from the Elite. So they tried to do that, and Cody actually saved Tama by switching the monsters out and taking the poison monster for himself. And he never told Tama about it. So it's always just been this kind of like, we know that he saved Tama, but Tama doesn't know. So he actually does have Bullet Club's best interest at heart, as much as people might think he's an egomaniac. Kenny is still about Kenny. Why is, if he really cared about leading Bullet Club, why is he off trying to become the best tag team with Kota Ibushi, someone who's not in Bullet Club? Storyline wise, I believe Cody is the face. Does he sometimes do things that are selfish? Sure, but everybody does. The Bucks do things that are selfish. Hangman Page does selfish things. You know? I mean, look at what happened with Jay White. Kenny tried to recruit Jay White because he would bring unity, and then Jay White beat him for the U.S. Championship. And then when Hangman Page tried to have his moment in the sun, Kenny got in his face and told him, no, it's not your time. You know, and who is Kenny to decide that for Bullet Club, that it's not your time? Because Kenny's too concerned with his image, and if anybody does anything in Bullet Club that will ruin his image and make him look bad, he doesn't like it, because Kenny is self-centered. So therefore, Cody's the face.
So you've been going down to Atlanta, Georgia, attending church with Cody and Brandy, drinking that juice down there.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm just following the roads that are going to lead me to salvation.
That's really interesting. And you would have a very valid point if it wasn't for that fact that Cody acts like an asshole 24/7.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just it's so interesting to me to see people's takes on this, and it's like, well, Kenny's obviously the good guy here, and we love the Golden Lovers, even though I'm this is not to sound snobby, but this is to put people in their place. Anybody who's cheering for the Golden Lovers now, when they're mainstream, was not cheering for the Golden Lovers back in DDT
Yep.
when they were
2011.
yeah, in 2011 in their original run. Everybody has the nostalgia of the Golden Lovers. You didn't even know who the Golden Lovers were when they first did their run. And I'm only saying that because I didn't know what the Golden Lovers were during their original run. It's
I
not
did, but they were a gimmicky kind of thing, and this was
it's
when Kenny, if I remember correctly, was still wearing his blue trunks.
he's wearing the green with the yellow kick pads.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's not because I'm trying to put like I'm not saying people can't don't have fake nostalgia for something you weren't a part of. You know, I
Yeah.
I look fondly on some things that I remember from the Attitude Era, but when I watch wrestling from like the 1980s and I watch a bunch of like Mid South stuff and I watch a bunch of AWA, I don't have nostalgia for the 80s, but I just enjoy what wrestling was at that time. I have my current appreciation for it does not diminish. I don't go, I remember when wrestling was great like this. I remember when Kenny and Ibushi were the best tag team in the world. It's because you probably don't. You just
They were
like
never the
what's.
best tag team in the world, though.
I know, but
They
it's
might
like,
be today, but that's because they've gotten significantly better in a decade.
yeah. And for me, it's just like if you didn't know what it was, but you're trying to have this fake nostalgia about it, just admit that you like where this is going. That you know that you have current appreciation for it, not nostalgia.
Right? Like, listen, y'all didn't watch two 25-year-olds in 2009 fucking wrestling in a company that no one in America saw because we were still trying to get our fucking graps on getting New Japan tapes. Y'all weren't even aware of the DDT.
Yeah.
Just sit down. Like, there might be three of you, and I mean quite literally three of you, who ever actually saw this shit. But, dude, like, I've been hearing about DDT for a while, but I have only the last 5 years actually been able to watch DDT.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
been so hard to get because within the Japanese wrestling community, it's so niche. Like, we sit here and we laugh about this whole thing, like the fucking ladders held a belt and shit like that in Japan.
And the fucking
But
campground matches.
right, like fucking Generico and Kota having their fucking
Their kayak
match
fight.
in the kayak. Like, that was great. But Japan doesn't have. They don't give a fuck about them. You
Yeah.
know, like we sit here and laugh at this shit, but in Japan, DDT is like bottom rung, bro.
Yeah.
They're better parallel. They are Japan's Shikara. However, we view Shikara as a top 10, top 15 promotion. They do not view DDT as a top 10, top 15 promotion
Right.
in Japan. And there's significantly less promotions in Japan. So think about that.
What I think it
It,
really.
it, it,
Go
it's
ahead.
their version of CZW. It's their version of CZW without the grotesque violence.
Right. What I think it really comes down to for me is when it comes to storyline wise, where everybody's going, but Kenny and Coda, it's true love meant to be. They were split for so long and they hated each other. And I'm going, you only know this story because Kevin Kelly and Don Callis filled you in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets me. It's like, yes, I get it. Your natural inclination is to cheer for the good guys, as is everybody. Could like, prime example. I just finished Far Cry 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And without spoiling the end, there is no good ending in that game. There is marginally neutral ending, which is a secret ending, and then there is bad ending and bad ending. Bad ending and worse ending, depending on how you look at it. To me, that's kind of like Blue Balls, where it's like I put in 40 hours of work in this game, liberating people and freeing them from the clutches of this evil cult, just so that the good guy loses in the end. It's such a fucking ball buster.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that's like you want the good guy to win. You want to go, yes, he fought hard for what he believed in, and in the end, his hard work and sacrifices paid off. And even though we lost people along the way, we completed the mission and job well done. Life doesn't always work like that, and I think why that's why I think Cody needs to win this, because if we give you know control back to Kenny and him and Ibushi just go on and do their thing and the elite blah blah blah. What happens to Bullet Club? What happens to one of the biggest selling merch factions in New Japan? Well, what happens to all that? I think Cody needs a win here because I think that's going to tell a better story in the long run than just giving people the satisfaction of the good guy winning in the end.
I mean,
You know,
that's fair.
and that's just my 2 cents. You know,
More like $1.50, man.
I, when wrestling is, we said this before, when wrestling is good, it breeds this kind of energy and passion.
I'm
You know,
just I'm surprised that a storyline, not like a real thing, but a storyline has you so worked up. I think it's adorable. I like it.
dude,
I'm for it.
it's one of the best stories happening in wrestling right now.
Oh, easily. I've
Mhm.
but see, for me, like I don't even sit here and analyze it. I'm just enjoying the fuck out of it. Like I love Kenny wanting to be friends with Coda again. I love the whole Young Bucks are split. I love that the God is like, we don't even know what the fuck we're doing anymore. And Cody's all just like, Bullet Club's fine.
Yeah,
So let's go through this fucking show. I didn't watch the pre-show stuff. Kelly Klein defeated Maya Itwani for the Women of Honor Championship Tournament semifinal, and then Sumi Saki defeated Tenel Dashwood, which I
Sumi
thought was a bit
Sakai.
of an upset. Sumi Sakai?
Sakai. Yes.
Sakai, okay. So I thought that was a bit of an upset because Tenel Dashwood obviously Emma from WWE, and
Yep.
we all thought she was going to win.
Everybody did.
So Chucky T takes on Jonathan Grisham. Chucky
Yeah.
T wins because he's chucking fucking T.
Hell yeah.
He fucking T. There we go. I like Jonathan Grisham. Good to see him back up on. Solid match. Nothing overly special, but definitely interesting. Punishment Martinez. Punishment. It's been a long week. Punishment Martinez. There we go. I hate that name, by the way.
Hey, so do I.
Defeated Tomohiro Ishii. What was he? The Stone Gargoyle?
Stone Pitbull.
Stone Pitbull looks like a fucking gargoyle. So he defeats Ishii. A lot of fans online were like raving about the match. I was like, it's fine.
It was fine.
something special. It's not a career maker like so many people said, but it was fun. Then we started to get into the real fucking nitty gritty of it all. Kota Ibushi defeated Hangman Page in a pretty solid match. You and I both agree. Page is just fucking. He's the
I
shit.
I love Ibushi. I think Ibushi is obviously one of the hottest stars right now, but I think Paige could have benefited a lot from a win there.
I do too. However, I think it's in the vein of when they're ready to use him in that. Because even if he won here, I don't think that Ring of Honor and New Japan were going to propel him. So save that win for when you're ready to do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be a non-starter.
Right, and just my whole thing
And he
is
is only
like
26.
when you look at how Bullet Club is split right now, you know you have Kenny and Ibushi on one side, and you have Cody and Hangman on the other side, and then Marty and the Bucks are still in the middle somewhere. So I think helping it's kind of imbalanced right now when you have arguably the two best wrestlers in the world, and then Cody and Page on the other side, where it's like
Yeah.
the balance isn't really fair. But if Page had gotten a win here, I think people would have been like, ooh, you know.
I think I would agree with you, but they did defeat Kenny and Kota in a tag match.
Right, that's fair.
Sumi Sakai defeated Kelly Klein to win the inaugural Women of Honor Championship.
Yep.
It also kind of puts to bed an era of Shimmer being their women's division unofficially. And that was a very cool era because seeing guys like Lufisto and Sarah Del Rey and the aforementioned Daisy Hayes and so many Lacey and so many other great talents
Yeah.
that came through Shimmer and were highlighted on Ring of Honor shows. We mentioned constantly that Impact Wrestling was truly the first major promotion to do a women's revolution. But if it was because of Shimmer that a lot of these talents even existed to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of these women came from Shimmer. So, tip of the cap and a wag of the finger, if you will, to the bygone era of Shimmer in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and
It wasn't anything.
I get why they gave the belt to Sumi Sakai, because Sumi Sakai has been one of the women talent who have been there since like they started doing, since Ring of Honor really kind of started pushing for women's wrestling. You know, like they had always featured it. You know,
She was in the very first women's match, if I remember. It wasn't Laces. Was it Simply Luscious?
maybe.
Is that who it was? I think that's who it was. Someone fact check that shit. And she was in some early matches with Allison Danger and who's that?
God, that's a name I haven't heard of.
Redhead. Right?
Allison
Okay.
Danger.
April Hunter.
Oh, April Hunter. Okay.
Yeah, she wrestled them back in Ring of Honor, cause that's just what we do, y'all.
God, Allison Danger.
Yep. And she's married to Aries, not Austin Aries, but Swiss-born Aries.
Oh yeah,
Claudio
yeah.
Castagnoli's former tag team partner. Sorry, former Champion de Pareja partner.
Fucking one half of Swiss Money Holding.
Yes, which was a great fucking name.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sumi Sakai getting the win. Dig it. That's fine. No issue there. But it was a whatever match. Kelly Klein still kind of, she's still getting her, still getting new to the scene. Not so much, in terms of being a wrestler. She's been around for a little while. But at this level,
right?
I think she's maybe 28, 29. So, it was what it was. I thought she had a great look, though. And Sakai, earns her first major North American title.
Mm-hmm.
At least I know of.
Yep.
Let me double check that. Yeah, first major. We move on. This is when the show fucking picked up and took off into a new stratosphere. SoCal Uncensored, Daniels, Kazarian, Scorpio Sky defeated Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks to retain the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Championship. At one point, the Kingdom ran in and just started causing chaos and destruction everywhere. But Daniels was able to rally the troops, so to speak, and get the win. So, also, this is going to make you laugh.
Just to kind of interject, it's funny that the man known as the Ring General would be able to rally the troops
That's what I went with.
Unite the forces against the Kingdom.
Yup. Now you're seeing the wordplay. Yes. So at some point today, there was a fight backstage in the
Right,
Ring of Honor
yeah.
locker room, and apparently Flip Gordon was involved. Either Flip Gordon started the fight, ended the fight, or got involved and broke up the fight. There's only three possibilities for this. And whatever he did was inspirational enough because Cody tweeted out, well, maybe this will get Flip Gordon on All In now. And I thought that was great. That was just the most Cody thing to say about
Well,
how somebody could get in.
did you see the tragedy that took place during the fight?
Yes, is Cody's food.
Rest in peace, Cody's Chipotle.
His burrito was destroyed in the melee.
It got stepped on.
Yes, destroyed. You don't eat stepped on food. You eat dropped food. You can even eat licked food. But once a boot comes on top of your food, it is done. You don't bounce back as food.
It was so young.
Maybe only a half an hour old. Didn't even have a chance to digest itself yet.
It was the new hottest thing.
Now it's the new smushed thing.
Ah.
Oh no! Oh,
So a lot of people have
weird.
been speculating about this fight, about whether it was a work, whether it, because a lot of the tweets that people that Kaz and Cody put out got deleted. So a lot of people are like, well, maybe it's a work, and people are they're trying to do something storyline wise. Maybe it wasn't a work, and Ring of Honor told them to delete their tweets. You
That's
know,
what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that because some of the guys they tweeted out some not real heinous shit, but like if it was a storyline, it got buried by these guys, kind of heavy shit. Like Frank
yeah,
Kazarian. And here's the thing: I've never met Frankie Kazarian, but I've known everyone who's ever met him. Frankie Kazarian is the most down to earth dude ever.
right,
There's what I call the master class of personality, and these are dudes that believe in the tenements that everyone should follow. And I of the mountain, I think Adam Pearce is that leader folk at the top of that pyramid. Kazarian and Daniels were right there. You don't intentionally injure your partners. You don't go out of your way to make yourself look bad or make others look bad. You sell the angle. You don't bury the company. You don't bury the angles.
right.
So if Kazarian's saying that was Bush League, that shouldn't happen in these days, then to me, that's not him selling an angle.
Right.
Because if this was an angle, he wouldn't even become an angle unless it was supposed to involve him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like through that kind of mentality, I think that this was a real fight, and it was probably over flat Earth. Fucking people are stupid.
Don't
I
get me.
want to know what the fuck happened though.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see if anything comes to light soon, because it's like, yeah, um, if Flip may be involved, we don't know what exactly his involvement was, but I want to know, because apparently they like caught the ire of pretty much everybody in the locker room.
And the fact that Flip was involved is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So
In whatever context that he's involved.
yeah.
All right, hang on. Let's see. Work it. That's everyone's commenting about it is about Cody Chipotle.
Yeah.
Looks like we're legit fighting some wrestlers tweeted about and included. All right, so nothing. Okay, so back to the show. Good solid 6-man. I'm not sure if I want more companies to adopt 6-man titles, but it does give people another opportunity for a belt to go after
Yeah.
and to pad a legacy. Because I think, well, you don't want to go to the WWE axiom, where there's 30 championships on your roster, but you also don't want to go into the Impact axiom where there's only 4 championships on your roster.
Right.
You want to have a balance, depending on how big you are. At least 6, I think, is a good number. And I think a 6-man belt and a Knockouts tag belt would be fun for Impact. But I think Ring of Honor 6-man is fun.
Yeah.
They've been using it better than New Japan 6-man,
For
which
sure.
is basically just New Japan's excuse to have a title. Because you look at you look at the Young Bucks, they had 8 defenses. You have the Kingdom with 5, and theirs was cut short, if I remember correctly, because of an injury, right?
Yeah, because
TK Orion blew out his knee.
TK Orion. That's right.
The ink sanity of them.
Nope.
No, that's not it. What is it?
That's Vinny Marseglia.
Yes. Sorry, my bad.
TK Orion is tall one.
Generic phase.
Yeah, pretty much.
Adam Cole, Adam Cole's younger brother.
Yeah, tall younger Adam Cole.
Adam Cole's younger. They might be the same age, actually.
Who knows?
Let's find out. Adam Cole, baby.
He's got something
Widow's
going
Peak.
for him that Adam Cole doesn't. He's got Matt Taven.
They're both 28, but Cole is July, so Cole's technically older.
Oh, okay.
So I've been liking the 6-man tag stuff. It's nice. So it's the workers tag title, if you will. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, in a match that pissed me the fuck off, because fuck the Briscoes,
Yeah, I fucking hate the Briscoes.
Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi lost a fucking phenomenal match because Lethal at one point was just doing everything. He's so good.
I think it's a case of like Tanahashi's really not taking time off when he needs to.
Yep. Well, then again, he and Jay Lethal were stellar tag team too.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean, he still wears that fucking compression sleeve
yep.
on
because
his
his shoulders all kinds of fucked.
Yeah, and his bicep is still fucking. He never
All
got.
kinds of fucked.
Yeah, he never got the. He tore his bicep and never got it fixed.
So, well, now I did hear that his bicep injury did not need surgery. So it could be healing on its own. But when that's the case, you generally want to not use it.
Or wrestle every night.
Right. Like I said, use it.
Yeah.
So apparently, apparently in Japan, if you translate what ace means, it actually translates to, in proper English, all kinds of fucked. So I mean, it's fairly an accurate nickname.
Yeah.
All right, so it was fine. I fucking hate Jay Briscoe, so fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, Ring of Honor wants to ride or die with these assholes. I don't know why. You know, I don't know if they have pictures of Delirious like butt hopping like a sheep or something, but like, it's time to move past the Briscoes.
Yeah. Racism and homophobia do not need a place in professional wrestling in 2018.
Nope. No, nor does two guys who constantly hurt themselves and others.
True.
But no, no. In what I would say was probably the most clever match of the night, Silas Young took on Kenny King in a last man standing match for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. I don't know why it's a World Television Championship, but whatever.
Yeah.
So these two have been having a pretty decent feud. Aries comes out, does commentary, and he starts yelling at Ian Riccaboni, who is right there with Mauro Ranallo and most annoying commentator for trying to be pop culture-ish in the world.
Some of his stuff just doesn't click with me.
So, dude, Ian Riccaboni is just terrible. I don't know why they...
He's decent most of the time, like Kevin Kelly decent, but then he just like fucking does the... I don't know when... He does it for certain spots in every match. Like when Kenny King did something in this match, he did the fucking suck at MCs call me Squire or something like that reference.
And he sounds so white doing it.
Yeah, and when the Bucks do the fucking Terminator dive, he does from Oakland to Sacktown, the Bay Area, and back down. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. It's fucking Tupac. They're from California. Okay, cool. Like I most of the time he doesn't bother me, but it's when he tries to get his little catchphrases in, it just doesn't click.
He's Michael Coling this so hard. Like, his shit. And, like, here's the thing. Michael Cole will get something over. He always does. So when he has his failures, and he does have men, it's not that surprising. Because, like, you know, he coined Beast Incarnate, you know. The Monster Among Men was one of his. But then you think about Kofi Kingston. Remember when he tried to get him over as the Wildcat?
Yep.
I remember when he tried to get him over as the Wildcat. Or like when they tried to get Undertaker over as Booger Red. Not great. But those are moments in time.
Yeah.
Ian Riccaboni is consistently not great. I don't have one funny, clever catchphrasey thing he said that is like, yeah, you don't sound like an 18-year-old white kid, white Jewish kid from the burbs trying to hang out with cool kids trying to quote rap and metal songs. You're so lame. God damn it, Riccaboni. And
That's
why
fair.
Colt isn't just making fun of him persistently throughout the show is because I would be making Riccaboni cry. Oh,
Because
I would just lay into it.
because Colt Cabana has no room to make fun of anybody, and I will quote an actual Colt Cabana catchphrase that he tried to get over early in his career.
Oh,
I'm
please
Colt
do.
Cabana, and I'm so cool I can freeze vodka.
Now I understand why the WWE tried to sue him.
Colt Cabana has no room to make fun of anyone.
I'd try to sue him for that one too. But like with Riccaboni and with Morrow, I find that they're more trying to put over themselves than the talent.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's there's only so much I can take before I just go, Morrow, shut the fuck up.
Right? Like how Corey Graves isn't just like pushing Morrow's face into the announce table desk and holding him there consistently is beyond me. I think JBL should be shot in the face, but there are times when I went, okay, I get it. I bully him too.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is like I don't necessarily agree with Jim Cornette on a lot of things.
Yep.
You know, and one of the things
it's hilarious.
I think his views on wrestling are somewhat skewed, but also he knows a lot about the business, and he's someone who I respect. You know, sometimes he takes things a little too far. You know, comparing Kenny to Hitler. But he had made a point about the same points you made about the Gargano Ciampa match, and the fucking same points you made about Morrow, where it's just like Morrow is just too much sometimes. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, it's a 2-hour pay-per-view, and you just don't fucking shut up. You know.
So, okay, we'll get to Impact and Lucha last but the way Josh and Stryker do their commentary is perfect, and we'll get to it. But I also look at guys who, and Jim Ross, Jim Ross was never a good speaker. Gordon Soley had a voice. He was booming. But you look at Jim Ross and even Gorilla Monsoon, it wasn't so much that they were eloquent. They didn't speak very, very intelligently. They weren't men who came up with words from the thesaurus to impress you. They spoke with passion when it was needed. If you put somebody in an armbar, Gorilla Monsoon will spend most of that moment making fun of Bobby Heenan. Jim Ross would tell Jerry Lawler to shut up. They would keep you involved in what was going on, even if it wasn't that exciting.
Right.
Guys like Morrow and Riccaboni are like, oh, wrist lock, wrist lock, wrist lock. And it's like, wow, calm the fuck down, guys.
Yeah.
It's a fucking wrist lock. It's 2 seconds into the match. You can pretend that we all know that match ain't ending yet. Like, come on. That's why, like, when Lesnar was defeated by Taker, no one popped because even the announce table was like, wait, what? What just happened?
Yeah.
And you're allowed to be shocked. You are allowed to not have the words. And like the worst example of this, I forget which, like, ICW, is that the Scotland based promotion that Grado worked for or works for?
I think. I'm not sure.
It might be ICW. It's irrelevant. But Grado is really, really popular in the UK. And part of the reason is because he always has these great Madonna-esque entrances with Like a Virgin or Like a Prayer. Whatever the fuck it is. And the fans sing along. It's this great, emotional, powerful kind of coming together moment. And their announcers talk all over it. You need to know when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What is Botchamania's Matthew always said? There's too much talking.
Yeah.
So, fuck Ian Riccaboni. So anyway, so Silas Young and Kenny King are there, and Scenarios comes out with his 9 belts, and he's like, "Look at my big dick," and he slams it on the table. This table's not big enough for my big dick, and everyone's like, "We'll get you a bigger table for your big dick." Area.
Make a note there. They weren't even on a table.
No, it was like a little.
They got a fucking equipment box. They got an
Yeah,
equipment box.
is that what it was? Was it an equipment
Yeah,
box?
it was an equipment box. Was their fucking commentary booth.
So that's great because, Ring of Honor. Let's not even get into the whole Sinclair broadcasting bullshit.
Yeah.
That's a different show for a different day. So the match is fun, but Beer City Bruiser's out there, and he's doing his Beer City Bruisiest. And at one point, they go to the ringside, and Kenny King, I don't know. I don't remember if it was like a 450, a Phoenix Splash, if he jumped off the building. I don't know. But he lays out Silas Young, and Silas Young is like, please, like he's like Bugs Bunny after getting shot in the face by Elmer.
Yep.
And Kenny King's trying to stand up. He's trying to stand up, and then he falls, and everyone's like, what? And then Silas Young pulls himself up barely, and to the 10 count, and he gets the bell for him, and everyone's like, oh my god! And then Kenny pulls his feet out from underneath the ring because he was kind of like underneath the ring at one point, and you see that his fucking feet are like tied together, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then Beer City Bruiser crawls out from underneath the ring. I'm like, that's such a great heel ending. Oh, that was great because I didn't see it coming. It wasn't as stupid as that Batista Cena finish where Batista sat there for 20 seconds while Cena got the tape. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." The minute I see that, I'm kicking him in the fucking face.
Yeah.
But this was great because Kenny's, his feet were underneath the ring and he couldn't see what was happening. So if you were delicate enough, you could start getting that tied up and then, none the wiser. And it was great. Oh my, it was so much fun. So now it's Silas Young versus Austin Aries at the next show. I think it's War of the Worlds. They're gonna do it, I think. TV title, and by the way, Aries just defeated Shane Strickland tonight or yesterday for Strickland's Defy Championship. So that's 7.
Yeah. 6. He's up to 6.
Well, he's got the was it the 3 indies? Oh, okay, yeah. So he had the 3 indies, then he got the World, then he got the Grand. Now he's got the Defy. Okay.
Yep.
So he's got 6, and I think the if we count all these as a major, which I think the indies, the 3 before everything might be hard to sell, but Ultimate, goddamn. Gonna call him Ultimate Dragon like it's WCW already. Ultimo Dragon had 10. He had like 18, but 10 of those were major championships. Like we're talking like NWA, CMLL, New Japan, WCW. It's like Aries got some ways to go before he's at the Dragon's doorstep.
Yeah.
So then we'll do the main event because obviously the real main event is not the main event.
Oh shit.
What?
I just completely forgot about a match that you would have fucking loved that was on Joey Janela's Spring Break.
What?
Fucking the product David Starr versus Mike fucking Quackenbush.
Oh, that was on Spring Break?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that match is lost to the infinite wisdom of space and time.
Good old Lightning. Lightning Mike Quiet. Dude, he's fucking looked great.
His back has been giving him problems, so I'm happy to see that he can still do it. And Starr is one of those guys, one, we still have that Austin Starr gimmick we can give to somebody. So I mean, like if Impact really, if David Starr wants a gimmick, like come on in. He's one of those guys. He reminds me so much of the old school. And here's the thing: we see so many of these guys now, but he reminds me of the old school grapplers, like the Dean Malenkos of yesteryear. And I know Thatcher and Gulak and Oni Lorcan. Same fucking cut, but it's still great to see guys like that. I dig.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I'll never watch the match. I mean, I might. I don't want to say never, but right now, my hate for Janela is at an all-time high. If I can do it illegally, I probably will.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you can find the match cut out by itself, or if you can find the thing illegally.
Just so I don't have to give money to Joy Janela.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So you know how I've not been a big Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
Last 2 matches have completely changed my mind.
Huh.
That Will Ospreay match and this one with Dalton Castle. Wow.
The match with Dalton Castle, I'll give you, really good. The Will Ospreay match, I was not a fan of.
Well, it wasn't so much.
It wasn't Marty's fault. It wasn't Marty's fault.
Well, here's the I know that fucking nearly killing himself on the ring apron was gross. And I'm not saying that match was. I think I did put it as a match their qualifier. Maybe it's not going to make the final cut, obviously, but it still needs to be mentioned. But the ring technical work that Skrull did, especially near the end, with the joint manipulation and how it was so well timed, oh, that was so good. And before it was like he would just do it to do it. Now he's picking the spots to do it.
Yeah.
He's starting to realize that, if I do this better, if I pick and choose to do it later, it becomes a moment in itself. Because he used to do it like whenever. It didn't really have like a cadence. Like you never would see a people's elbow right after a clothesline in the first 2 minutes. You just wouldn't.
Right.
Now Skrull's starting to adopt that same kind of process. And he really upped the ante with Dalton Castle. I've personally been feeling like Dalton Castle's been a bit of a bust as world champion. Now, granted, it's only been 4 months into his run, but it's been a very quiet one.
Right.
No one's talking about his promos. No one's talking about his matches. No one's talking about his feuds. That's not a good sign that you're doing a good job. This reminds me of Magnus back in 2014.
Right.
Maybe not a bad run, but damn sure not a good one. So it's really kind of pissing me off that they took the belt off of Cody when Cody's at his apex. Don't get it. But this match was really good. I think it's Dalton's first really good match as world champion. I thought they missed a real good opportunity to put the belt on Skrull, though. Because as big as Ring of Honor has become, looking at Ring of Honor without the New Japan merger, if you will, they're nothing. Like, they don't have anything. Like, they have Jay Lethal. But then everyone else is a New Japan guy to some degree. And you realize, like, oof, that's not good. Like, they have Dalton, and that's good, and Silas Young, and that's okay. But Jay Lethal's, like, their top non-New Japan guy.
Yeah.
That's not good at all. So a lot of what you're seeing in Ring of Honor is bleed over from the New Japan stuff.
New Japan America.
Basically. If they changed their name to that, it would make more sense.
Yep.
Although that would be weird because then they would be airing on a promotion that's not co-owned by Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. Because Mark Cuban's all about that New Japan goodness right now.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So Skrull had a really good match. Really brought the best into Dalton Castle. I don't remember the exact ending. I think Bangarang, I think. But like at that point, I was just so kind of done because that was like my third, fourth, fifth show of the day. I was like, no, good.
Yeah.
But there was this cool spot, and Marty had him in the chicken wing, and Dalton dropped him on his back. And then Dalton was just sitting there, and he was just like, he's sitting upright, and he's just like, oh, I'm so tired. And Skrull's like out. And then all of a sudden, you just see Skrull come back to life and hook it in again. I'm like, oh, like I knew it was coming. And then he did the finger thing and the joint stuff, and it was a really well done main event. Skrull is. I'm not saying Skrull's a main eventer, but I'm definitely now like, I wonder what else he can do when he's not in the ring with Ospreay, because his best matches are not with Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And to think that this dude was basically deadpanned by everyone back in like 2012 because no one could take him seriously. They picked Rockstar Split over Marty Scurll because nobody thought Marty Scurll had the chops to be a real wrestler.
God, look at Marty Scurll. Like, it was so crazy. He was so jacked and fucking doing the Party Marty gimmick. No facial hair. He's clean cut. Like,
just unwatchable, unlikable.
Yeah.
He did the Wrestle Talk TV segments when they were saw on television in the UK, and they got some of the lowest ratings of the time. Like, no one gave a fuck about Marty Scurll, but now he's something to watch, man.
Yeah.
And the thing that really sold me on maybe him winning was, the NWA tweeted out like, "Hey, Marty Scurll's at Magnus Nick Aldis is at ringside." So that's a cool thing to promote. Billy Corgan, he's trying to do the simpatico thing that Impact's doing, that play nice with others. But you didn't really think that it was anything worthwhile. Then all of a sudden, Ring of Honor shows Nick Aldis sitting at ringside and dressing as the NWA World Champion. Mm-hmm. And then you start thinking maybe Scurll's going over. He doesn't.
Yeah.
But it was still a cool moment. I still dug the fuck out of it. So it's great to see Scurll really coming into his own. He's getting his gimmick down a lot better, and he's not just relying on the stupid bird mask anymore.
Yeah.
So that's good. Then, of course, in the main event of the
Well,
evening,
it technically went on before the main.
it was the main event of the evening. Why you would do this match before the actual, why you would do this not as the main event is beyond me. Say what you will
Be
about Gargano Ciampa, you knew no one was going to follow that,
yeah,
which is why.
yeah. And I was gonna make this point earlier. It's because the reason I think Dalton's reign is getting overshadowed is because I think this feud overshadows everything.
Yeah, but all right, and yes, you're exactly right. There are some remedies to that, though. Instead of trying to top it, let it be its own thing.
Yeah.
Let this be the main event, and then let the world title be secondary. I know it's not always the best idea, but when something mandates it, you have to kind of just roll with it. You know, like which match do you talk about most from WrestleMania 8? The main event with Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan, or who is it? Savage and Macho Man and Warrior. They're the same person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when the hell did
What?
when the hell did Randy Savage face Macho Man?
Probably in WCW.
And just to answer your question, I don't talk about either because I hate both those fucking matches.
But those no, they were they the same event?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Dude, I don't
Hey,
fucking care about WrestleMania 8.
you don't care about Ric Flair versus Macho Man?
Was that WrestleMania 8?
Yeah, I was wrong. WrestleMania 7, I think, was the Warrior Savage retirement.
Okay, sure, I care about that match. Do I give a fuck about Sid Justice versus Hulk
No,
Hogan?
but that's my point. Like sometimes you take the back seat because the main event of the show wasn't so much Hogan and Sid, but was the return of Warrior. So sometimes you take the back seat as world champion. Is what I'm saying. There is precedent. Is my point. But then on the flip side, Hogan defeated Savage. I mean, Hogan defeated Slaughter at WrestleMania 7, but the main event was really Warrior Savage in the retirement match, and that was 7 matches beforehand. So, just saying.
Remember that time that Hulk Hogan was retired, and then at the end of WrestleMania 9, when Brett lost the title, he fucking
He,
unretired, beat
he wasn't
Yokozuna?
retired. He was not retired. He wrestled that night in a tag team title match with Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Who the fuck was telling me he was retired then?
I don't know. He was retired a bunch of times.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I confused that with a different thing. He was on his way out.
Yes. He was going to be done by June.
Yeah.
So he was literally only there for another.
He was fucking leaving the company. He's like, hey, man. Hey, brother. I'm out of here. At the end of the night, I think I should go over. What?
And the whole tit-a-tat, if you will, was they wanted Hogan to put over Yokozuna on the way. And Hogan's caveat was, fine, but I need to be champion.
Fucking
Sometimes
Hogan.
you just go, fuck it, no, we don't need you to put over Yoko. We don't need you to put over Yoko. But then again, you shouldn't have never put the belt on Yoko to be.
So at ringside is Brandy and Bernard the Business Bear.
Yes, and Bernard has the briefcase, and he's looking dapper as usual. And Brandy is looking like 10 times of damn.
I forget what it was on Being the Elite, but they introduced Bernard the Business Bear, and fucking somebody asked, like, does he do any party tricks or does he dance? And he goes, and Cody goes, no, he doesn't dance. He's all fucking business.
So you know who Cody is? Here's who Cody is. Cody is every 80s movie villain cliche.
I fucking love Cody so much. This match was so good too.
It really was. So much great back and forthness. So much great just in-ring promo work. And Cody's like, name one good Kenny Omega match that wasn't with Okada. And everyone's like, he's like, exactly. Well, we have another.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with Cody. I think Kenny's really good with just about anyone.
Yeah,
but
no.
This was a great match, and it wasn't a stereotypical New Japan match in the fact that a lot of big spots, a lot of hard hitting. Like, this was psychology. There was a lot of moments where like Cody would literally slither around the ring, just like, Wonder what I'm going to do next. Just the way Cody interacts with people is just that alone is why I think he's a man of.
Yeah.
He makes everyone involved. Kenny accidentally put Brandy. Was it accidentally put Brandy through a table?
Yeah, he was going for the V trigger on Cody. Cody ducked. He hit the V trigger on Brandy, who crashed backwards off the apron through a table.
And Brandy tweeted out, "I took a table for you. When am I getting the Bullet Club?"
Yeah.
Now listen, I don't necessarily agree with the whole 75% of whatever bullshit. I think there's some investigating we need to do into that stat. But like, listen, y'all, seriously, she would throw a fucking table for you. What do you need to know?
Yeah.
When's enough's enough?
Yeah.
It's not like they haven't had chicks before. Club. They had
Amber
Doc
O'Neil,
Callis' wife. Yeah, they had Amber
ex-wife.
O'Neil. Plus, they well, really they divorced.
So remember when the club was doing the Big E New Day angle where they fucking posted Big E in the groin?
Mm-hmm.
And they were carrying around his testicles and his testicles, quote unquote, in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana Brooke was with them briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who got jealous of Dana Brooke?
Bullet Babe.
Yep, and it started this huge fight apparently, and they are no longer together. They haven't been together for a while.
That seems kind of out of the blue. Where did you even hear this? Don't say Reddit. Don't say Reddit.
I don't remember honestly.
Okay.
This was months ago.
Okay. At least it's not Reddit. So, all right. Well, anyway, we know that they've had at least, we know that there's been women in the past with Bullet Babe, and of course Bone Soldier. Oh, jokes.
Ha 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 ha.
I'm hilarious. But, Brandy really has, I don't know if I'd say come to her own yet as a wrestler. She joined the WWE to be a wrestler. And they're like, no, we want you to be an interviewer. And she's like, I want to be a wrestler. And they're like, no, you're going to do introductions. Wrestler? No, introductions. Damn it. So she's behind the 8 ball on this one. But she's, leaps and bounds, striding forward. We'll see what she can do here in the next year or two. So I don't know what and New Japan doesn't have a women's division. They just don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what Brandy's role would be in the Bullet Club officially, but it is what it is. However, in Ring of Honor, she could be an active wrestler. So I mean, just do it. I guess just do it.
Oh yeah, I found out where I heard it from. By the way,
Reddit.
No, Carl Anderson accidentally let it slip when they did one of the Talk is Jericho Talking Shop episodes where they were all fucking wasted in like China or Australia. I don't remember where it was, but yeah, they were all wasted, and Carl Anderson was like, "Yeah, my good buddy over here is recently single," but stuff like that. So,
when was this? Do you have a date on this?
No, it's sometime last year. I just saw a Sportskeeda article about it.
There was it Talking Jericho in Hawaii?
Hawaii was the first one they did with
Okay,
AJ.
then there's another one in October.
Okay, so this was there's a Reddit post all the way back from February of last year. So this was before then. So it may have been like late 2016. They threw shade. They had an awkward Twitter exchange in August of 2016. Let's see, do they have the tweets? Maybe. I don't know. It's fucking all I see is the Dana Brooke tweet.
What's the Dana Brooke tweet?
It just said "ouch" is all it said in reply to her. So the Sportskeeda article I read says that the relationship started blah blah blah. Problems in the relationship started back in 2016 when Dana Brooke was added to a backstage segment with Gallows, and Anderson led to O'Neal and Brooke throwing shade at each other on Twitter as O'Neal appeared to be jealous that her husband was spending time with another woman. Merely months later, it was revealed that Amber and Gallus had separated when Anderson mentioned on their weekly podcast that his good friend had become single.
Hmm. Well, as of right now, it's still listing them as together on the wikis, which I
Yeah,
don't know. That's
yeah.
not exactly the most.
Wikipedia is not, but nothing is reliable in this day and age. Journalism.
Well, Wikipedia is pretty reliable, but they need really authentic sources. So
Yeah.
until you have something that's authentic, because like saying that, well, what you're single means, what does that mean? It means they could be separated, divorced, taking some time apart. They may have reconciled.
Right, right. Who knows?
So,
But
so like you really can't expand on that. So it's kind of a sticky wicket.
yeah.
But anyway, so Brandy's a badass bitch, and she goes through a table and she's like, "Fuck you."
Hmm.
Love me some Brandy, man. Cody's a lucky man. So the match escalates and the Bucks come down.
Yep.
And like they spend like before they go to that, they spend a few good 10 minutes trying to hit finishers on each other. Not hitting finishers, because I hate when they do that shit. But they spend one wing into Angel. I think Cody did hit the Crossroads, but Crossroads is so goddamn it's terrible. Everyone knows it's
Fucking
terrible.
Kenny sells it. He bumps for it like crazy, like spikes himself on the top of his head.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you need to sell that move, because
Yeah.
when wasn't Reno he was using that back in the day, and when he was doing it back then, it looked really cool because everyone was bumping for it really well.
Yeah.
But when you don't bump for it well, it looks like shit.
What did Reno call it? The roll the dice?
Yeah,
Is that it?
roll the
Oh,
dice.
fucking God. Remember Reno?
Yeah, I do actually. Does anyone else?
God.
No. Okay.
Probably not.
So Cody gets frustrated and pulls out the motherfucking Gringo Killer Vertebreaker.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fucking that was insane.
And here's the thing with that, like that's all on the guy setting the move up to make sure that their shoulders are like right underneath yours. So that way that their neck and head dangle right above your tailbone. Because if you do it properly, if you don't get them too high but don't drop them too low, what you get is what you get on last Saturday, where Cody drops Kenny, and Kenny, because he didn't touch the ground at all when he landed, just kind of slid off Cody's back upon impact, and it looked like Kenny's neck was driven into the mat, and Kenny was just dangling there upside down for a second. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so good. But he never touched the mat once, which is just pure precision right there by Cody. So that was great, just fantastic, loved it, so good.
Yeah.
Then the Bucks come down.
Yep.
And the Bucks are setting up and they're stalking their prey, and they get in the ring, and Matt's got Cody in the sights and Nick's got Kenny in the sights, or vice versa, or however you want to do it. And then they eventually just kind of all turn to Cody as Kenny's pulling himself up behind Kenny, and they go and they to super kick Cody, but Cody ducks out of the way and they kick Kenny instead, and they both drop to the ground. That allows, I think, Cody to hit another Crossroads, and that ends the match.
Yep.
Now, normally, you know me, I hate when matches have outside interference. I hate run-ins, and it's just bullshit. However, when it's used to further a storyline, I can look past it. And it doesn't hurt its standing as a match of the year contender because of how Cody's been using it as propaganda.
Yeah.
Bullet Club is fine. The Bucks picked me.
Yeah, I know.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, dude, it's so good. I love it.
It's great.
Okay, any final thoughts on Ring of Honor?
Overall, I think they had a really good outing. I don't know. It's just a good show in general. I don't really want to get into it more than that. We could go into a whole diatribe about Ring of Honor as a whole.
Oh no, yeah, we're not getting into Ring of Honor.
Yeah, no.
That long show for its own day.
Yeah.
Did you want to touch on anything else on WrestleMania?
No, I think we
You
talked.
talk about it.
I think we're good for tonight.
Okay.
I can feel the walls closing in on me.
Do you want to save Lucha for another night when you're more up for it?
Yeah, absolutely. We can come back to Lucha and
All
talk
right.
about
So
Impact and Lucha.
Impact and Lucha will handle next week to allow my good friend here to take a respite and then enjoy the rest of his evening.
Yeah. So I think we're good to take it home. You want to go ahead and hit them with all the info?
I'll hit him where it hurts. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com, your one-stop shop for all things NerdCorp. I finally posted a long time thought out idea how I would form and handle the original ECW roster from the spinoff brand in '06. It's up on the website. Don't know what I'm posting tomorrow, but I'll be writing it after tonight's show. So that way I can spend all of tomorrow doing dick nothing. So, yup. Twitter account is NERDCORP. Follow it for all the latest updates, breaking news, and weird musings I have about this thing called wrestling and comics and such. My personal Twitter account is Chad Nerdcorp, CHAD, NERDCORP. I talk baseball or retweet sports things on that account and occasionally yell at the president
Yeah.
because I'm a dumbass. Obviously the Twitch is twitch.tv/Real Nerdcorp. We export the video to YouTube, youtube.com/nerdcorp. So if you're listening to us on YouTube or Twitch, this is the other way to do that. We record this live usually every Friday or Saturday at 9 p.m. depending on scheduling allowances. Yeah, that's all I got. What do you got?
You can find me on Twitter at X2000Gregs. That is X2000GREGS. I tweet a bunch of bullshit, mainly about wrestling, some opinions from here and there. You can follow me on Tumblr at 2000gregs.tumblr.com. That's just a lot of personal bullshit, and that's really, if you'd like to get inside my head, that's where you want to go. And if you want to see pictures of my dumb face or my cat or alcoholic beverages, you can follow me on Instagram at aswish, AYYSWISH. And if you missed any of that, didn't catch it the first time, just go to realnerdcorp.com. You can find everything on the sidebar there. It's got links to all of our social media and everybody else who's a part of the Nerdcore family.
Also, realnerdcorp.podbean.com or find us on the iTunes at Nerdcorp.
Yep. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, listening in. Uh, it's awesome to be able to get down and dirty and have a diet tribe to just kind of go off on what's going on in my brain about wrestling or whatever's happening in the world. When we want to talk about it, it's always fun little chats. And not little, because sometimes they're 2 to 3 hours long. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back hopefully next week, Friday, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Catch us here, twitch.tv/realnerdcorp. Thank you all for listening. For Chad Porto, I'm Alex Swisher. Goodbye, good night, and watch more wrestling.
Bullet Club is fine, damn it.